Yeah, the world is watching now. Every eye's on you. Every single second counts. Will you make it through? It's an uphill battle, and your knees are bruised. When the clock is ticking down, let your powers burn. Don't be afraid of a little fire. Let it boom, it. You were born and raised a fighter. Let it boom, it. Now the world's watching. Show them what you do, what you were really here for, what you come to prove, and get them singing. And get them singing. And get them singing.
This summer, the heat will rise with every game, every clash, and every choice. And somewhere in that heat, one team out of 28 will break through and stand tall as champions of Free Fire Max Asia Invitational 2026 Summer. 28 total teams, all from India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand. Teams will come in hot and will only have one purpose: to be crowned by fire. South Asia play-ins starts from June 12th to June 14th. 18 teams will kick off the South Asia play-ins and will be divided into 3 groups of 6 each. 8 teams from India, 5 teams from Bangladesh, 3 teams from Pakistan, and 2 teams from Nepal. In a round-robin format, each group will play against the others over 3 days. At the end of day 3, only the top 8 teams out of 18 will move forward. For the remaining 10 teams, the journey ends. Main event starts from June 18th to June 20th. The 8 qualified teams from South Asia play-ins will then be challenged by the 10 invited teams. The top Indian team from Free Fire Max Asia Invitational 2026 Spring. 1 team each from Bangladesh, Nepal, and Pakistan. Joining the fray will be teams from across the ocean. 2 teams from Indonesia, 2 teams from Malaysia, and 2 teams from Thailand. Once again, 18 teams are split into 3 groups of 6, and in a round-robin stage that will last for 3 days, only 12 of the finest teams in all of Asia will move on to the last challenge. Grand Finals on 21st June. 1 day, 1 opportunity, no second chances. The Grand Finals will be played in Champion Rush format. To claim the title of champions, a team must first reach 90 points to activate Champion Rush, and then secure a booyah. At stake is not just the crown, but also the biggest share of the $50,000 prize pool. When the final moment arrives and the heat reaches its peak, only one team will rise above the rest, and only one team will be remembered as crowned by fire.
हेलो नमस्कार सत श्री अकाल आदाब, कैसे हैं आप लोग। टीयर लिस्ट टीयर रेटिंग लेके आ चुके हैं आपके साथ, और आज हमारे साथ टीयर रेटिंग करने के लिए 4 अमेजिंग एथलीट्स जुड़े हुए हैं। चलिए शुरू करते हैं टीयर रेटिंग की। सबसे पहली टीम गाइस ऑटोबॉट्स।
पिछली बार काफी अच्छा खेले थे वैसे, तो हीरोइक पे रख सकते हैं इनको।
अब हमारे सामने आ चुकी है टीम गॉडलाइक।
ग्रैंड मास्टर पे रख दो।
हाँ, मेरे हिसाब से भी ग्रैंड मास्टर पे भी।
नोबिता यहाँ पे स्माइल दे रहे हैं कि आप कहीं पे भी रख ले, लेकिन मेरे लिए तो गॉडलाइक दिल में रहेगी, दिल से गॉडलाइक। और अब अगली टीम है स्ट्रॉ हैट्स।
स्ट्रॉ हैट्स को डायमंड पे रख सकते हैं, मारते तो अच्छा मारते हैं लोग।
इनका बंदा वेडिंग पे कैंप करके बैठा था भाई, इनको प्लेटिनम पे रखो।
फाल्कन्स को कहाँ रखा जाए, चारों खिलाड़ियों से पूछूंगा मैं।
ग्रैंड मास्टर से ऊपर अगर होती तो अगर रख देते इसको, तो
चैंपियंस पे रख दो। चैंपियंस पे कुछ एक बनाओ, उस पे।
हाँ, एक चैंपियन का बना दो।
बिगेट्रॉन बाय वाइटैलिटी, इन्हें कहाँ रखा जाए?
ग्रैंड मास्टर पे रख दो।
ये भी भाई है भाई, ग्रैंड मास्टर पे रख दो। ग्रैंड मास्टर।
आईक्यू टोटल गेमिंग कहाँ रखना चाहेंगे?
ग्रैंड मास्टर यार, वो
ग्रैंड मास्टर पे रख दो।
और अब टीम हिंद हमारे तेज FFMIC 2026 स्प्रिंग के चैंपियन और
चैंपियन है, और इंडियन सर्वर में तो इनका कंपटीशन कोई दिख नहीं रहा है।
ग्रैंड मास्टर डालो इनको, क्योंकि अभी स्क्रिम्स भी चल रही थी जो बाहर की, उसमें भी काफी अच्छा खेल रहे थे।
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, survivors of all ages, this is the final day of the Free Fire Max Asia Invitational 2026 Summer Main Event, and the fire is burning hotter than ever. Today is the final day for the teams to pick up qualifying points for the top 12 teams. They stand a chance to be crowned by fire tomorrow in our Champion Rush Grand Final. South Asia versus Southeast Asia, veterans versus superstars. My name's AJ Abdul Mustachio, down here with the one and only Lucifer. We are your casters for the day.
I'm super excited. 12 games that every team gets to play. 18 in the lot that we had, but today we will be putting rest to the 6. It's only going to be the 12 who'll make their way into the grand finals and finally take their chance to be crowned by fire. It's going to be an exciting run, especially after what went underway yesterday. Only the South Asian teams got booyahs across the board. That was flaming hot yesterday, and I don't know what to expect today, Ajay.
No. Why would you bring up that point? Why would you tease the Southeast Asian teams? Why would you demand for them to dominate the day? I don't know if you know what you're asking for, Lucifer, but I think they might just respond appropriately with a couple of points out there. I think, there are many teams out here who are looking to prove something. I think there are some teams who are just looking to breeze through the qualifier because they know for sure they are going to be in the grand finals, right? Today, my attention is not on the teams who are going to dominate. Today, my attention is on the teams who have got that fighting spirit in them, who never say never, who never say die. I think there are a lot of teams who are currently not in the top 12 that we have to pay a little bit of extra attention to, my friend.
Yeah, I agree. There are some teams, Makna yesterday especially, they made that little spark and splurge towards those points, giving them and us also maybe there is a possibility. But possibilities were there even when we started the tournament itself. Here's the timeline. South Asia Plains started last weekend, 12, 13, 14. We had 18 lot of South Asian teams, all from different regions, trying their chance, but only some, that is the top 8, made it to the main event, where there were already giants waiting, which has started so far. 2 days have already been completed. And today is the last day, 28th June, where we'll conclude the main event to finally get our best 12 who will be rushing right to the grand finals tomorrow.
Absolutely, sir. And if you are from South Asia, you should be demanding for more days here in the Free Fire Max Asia Invitationals, because each and every single competition, South Asia is getting better and better as they sharpen their skills up against Southeast Asia. South Asia Plains, we saw the dominance, we saw the growth of so many squads that definitely struggled in the previous season, and they've made it into the main event. 8 teams made it here, and we have got 18 because 10 invite in totality, but we will have to shave the numbers down once again because, like you said, today is the final day. Tomorrow is the grand finals, right? Today is the final day of the main event, and only 12 teams will survive and make their way to tomorrow.
Now, when we saw regions trying to clash it out, South Asia Plains, as you already mentioned, one region were a surprise in this summer season, that's been Pakistan. Even yesterday, they played really well. That was hot shot. And now trying to make their way into what? It is the grand finals of Free Fire Max Asia Invitational 2026 summer in the Champion Rush format. And for that, to meet a criteria of Champion Rush, you need to get 90 points. Some of you might be surprised. Some of you might already have an eye on this because you were joining our previous teams. It is minimum that you have to get 90 or more points once you conclude a game, which will activate your Champion Rush condition. And any of the consecutive games from there on, if you get a booyah, you're crowned by fire.
Oh, yeah, baby. That's exactly what everybody wants out there, but not many will be able to achieve for themselves. Only one team gets to say that they got crowned by fire here in the 3rd season. And of course, if they do manage to say that, they walk away with $15,000. That's exactly what goes to the champion. We've got 50K USD in totality for our prize pool. And every single team that has made it into the main week gets to walk away with a decent sum of money. At the very minimum, you've got $500 in your pocket already. Anything better than that, you're just earning a big bonus for yourself, Lucifer.
A big one indeed. And look at this. If you're in the bottom of the top 18 that we are seeing in the main event and you do not make it to the 12, you are minimum carried around $1,000. But if you make it to the top 12, now your chances from $1,400 increase all the way to $15,000. Five
Oh, yeah.
digits is something that you can earn. But how do you do it? How do you make sure that you're in the top 12? As simple as it stands, the rule of Free Fire Max is about earning points, making sure your total points beats your competitors in the overall standings. And starting it off is the Booyah. Everybody knows, and we've been seeing just because of that, teams have been pushing 12 plus their eliminations to 30 plus points.
Everybody knows the Booyah, but not many people are familiar with how to guarantee themselves the Booyah. And like you said, those placement points are going to be very important, but the eliminations are going to be equally as important as well. Every elimination gets you 1 point. If indeed we do have a tiebreaker out there because two teams manage to collect the same number of points, we'll first look at the number of Booyahs, followed by the total eliminations. And even if that fails, we'll then look at the ranking in the final game, which we've never gone to before. I don't think we'll go to this time, but if we do, that should be able to call exactly who sits above the other. 4 unique active skills is exactly what we need to see in each and every single squad out there, and this has been one of the most exciting changes since we saw it last year, Lucifer.
Yeah, it's been a super exciting change indeed, because teams have now been forced to, yes, bring about different active skills within the team, but also figuring out a newer format for themselves to play as either rushers or secondary snipers, something that we are now getting used to seeing. Maybe bringing back the Steffi as well, the Painted Refuge. Some of these active skills were kind of being left around. Some teams were not picking, but showing that there is still opportunity, scope for it. Even 2-4 as well, the thrill of battle being actively used by players so much to depict their chances of qualification will also come into play. And in terms of knowing who will qualify, it depends on these 12 that are currently playing, and hopefully they rank above the teams in Group C who are already seeing if they have a chance or not.
Absolutely, man. And the ones who are in the biggest risk of all here are the teams who are at the very bottom. You're talking about teams like DRS Gaming, Extreme X, Total Winner, and surprisingly, even Bangla Unity is down here. We've talked about how well the Pakistani teams have done so far, how well the Bangladeshi teams have done so far. But you know, they're starting to realize very quickly that the play-ins versus the main week are two different monsters altogether. But does that mean that they're going to be able to slay this big monster? I don't think so. Has already proven to us they do have the fighting capability. I'm actually expecting a lot out of Titan Esports Club as well as Bangla Unity today.
Yeah, I agree. I think Titan Esports Club did give us a glimpse yesterday, but on the other end, hopefully it becomes even better.
Oh yeah.
Same in that Extreme X. Now, this has been an extreme team throughout our spring season. They've played incredible. Now they're trying their chance to get closer, and we saw their performance. Been good. However, it's time for them to get to that cascading situation where they don't allow any of the teams to get in. But one team with the 4, these young guns have been just surprising every capability. That is the SATUL Esports squad.
Oh yeah. So SATUL, they have managed to dominate multiple times already within their own local region, but stepping it up here up against Southeast Asia, some thought, okay, they might not be able to get the job done, but clearly they're proving otherwise. They have done phenomenally well for themselves, and I expect that run to continue on today as well, right? 117 points on their first day of play here in the main week. You guys saw how they flew yesterday, and to fly against the big squads today, I think is going to be equally as easy. But will they be allowed by the Titans of Southeast Asia? You've got RRQ KAZU as well as Team Falcons down in here as well, who have been dominating the leaderboard quite a little bit, especially RRQ KAZU towards those final circles.
I mean, 141 points on one given day, unbelievable stuff for them to be pulled off. And they were just brushing those victories one after another like it was another day in their usual office.
No
work.
smiles.
Nothing much additional. Yeah, nothing. No phased or not even worried. But on the other end, Falcons, however, there's been a dip and a dust that they have been trying to figure out. But one team who has to still figure out their region this season have been looking good is the teams from Pakistan. Demon's Pride, they were invited. They're still looking at the bottom of the charts. Hopefully today they rise up the ranks, find that opportunity, just like how Hotshot took yesterday, that they turn their cards towards the qualification.
Let's check out the game schedule as well. We've got Salara, Kalahari, Bermuda to start these games off. So we can expect to see a lot of engagements, and any teams who bring in those double snipers are going to have a bigger chance at walking away with more numbers by the time we get into the second game. But Purgatory next Terra, the pacing just doesn't stop, right? Regardless of which map we get into today, a day of desperation. I'm actually expecting all of these maps to blow up. But of course, that final one will bless some of these teams with a little bit of extra luck. It's going to be their favorite map, obviously, and whoever who does smile might just be able to walk with a couple of extra points. Does it make a difference? We'll have to wait and see exactly what the first 5 games entail, because not every single squad on the leaderboard is in the same situation right now, Lucifer.
Yeah, not at all. As you can see, right now, teams having 140 plus points, they look likely to qualify, and they should. I think that's as easy as it stands in ground. But the teams who are more than 80 points, but still in trouble, because yesterday itself we spoke about this. Predicted looks to be around 139, but if you go back to the South Asia Plains, it was 169, but it ramped up to 177. So I think with a little bit of salt, you need to add plus 10 points to this predicted cutoff, because that's how many points teams are taking away. After AG Global made their way into Falcons playing AURORA after yesterday, them having so many good battles, Titan Esports Club, but the ones risking elimination are the teams who are still less than 80 points, and we spoke about it. Demon's Pride, Bangla Unity already at that lower half of the overall standing. Total winner Extreme X as well, but DRS have been the most who have been taken a hit on this. Is they've been barely able to scrape for points, and if it continues today, there is no chance at all, because when we saw yesterday, even with Makna maybe there is a chance, we said they need to score at least 120 points, but for DRS they have to score more than that today, and it is going to be even tougher.
I actually don't agree with this graphic at all, because I think Magna Esports as well as Autobots Esports are in bigger trouble than some of these other teams who are currently in the bottom 6, right? Because Magna as well as Autobots, they have got no games to play. Yes, they have got more than 80 points, but what are they going to do, man? They're just going to sit down there and scratch their heads and hope and pray. Yeah, they're going to be hoping and praying a lot today that none of them beat those points, but we both acknowledge that they are quite low down on the leaderboard. But talking about low down the leaderboard, there are some teams who are making sure those squads stay low down on the leaderboard. You're talking about your regional powerhouses. You've got S8UL Esports, Team Apex Gaming out of South Asia, and then for Southeast Asia, you've got RRQ KAZU, and well, we've been kind enough to throw Team Falcons here on this screen, but I think another team from Malaysia needs to be thrown in here as well, right? AURORA Gaming. Southeast Asia just has that quality, but from what we've seen so far, Lucifer, South Asia has been giving them a run for their money as well. Like you said, yesterday it was just a South Asian day.
Equal footing, and even you pointed this out on day one, where we wanted to see more, but in toe-to-toe matching space is what South Asian teams were running, and after that yesterday they just went beyond it, and S8UL Esports were one of the flag bearers at #7 right now. You mentioned already 117 points that they have and 2 booyahs, but RRQ KAZU, yes, the Indonesian powerhouses you were mentioning, yes, there are more bigger players out there, and now RRQ, after they've made their entry, they've made everybody to be worried of what's going to be happening. And here it is. There's also something that RRQ KAZU could do, is make and set a new record in FFMAI. Last when we saw Falcons, irrespective that they did not win the season in 25, they still set a record in the main event of having 279 points at the end of 12 games. Deva United Horus fell a little short, but still, that was from Thailand, and then in Indonesia, Deva United Horus took that title away from them, get themselves 260 points, and now RRQ KAZU, in just their 6 games, they've acquired 141 points. If you try to double it, it is already a record about to be set.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. But of course, this is just a super flex, right? The superficial stuff. Who sets a record on the final day of the main event? But what matters is who really gets the job done on our grand finals, because we all know, although Falcons holds many records so far at FFMAI, at the grand finals, they only managed to walk away with the 4th spot. This is their 2nd time back in here. They've got the experience already. They know what the monsters of South Asia bring to the table as well. And it wasn't easy for them to deal with all of the heat the last time around. If not, they would have become champions.
Yeah. if they have another chance, this is the one that they will be trying to take. And looking at the preferred drop spots that we have in front of our screens, as you can see, starting off very easy peasy for them. Riders Club, it seems, where we are heading. But the southern part of Solara Riders now, TV Tower, Eco Drain, Casa Vista and Aquarium, we cannot forget the sight that we witnessed yesterday. So somewhere the southeast of what we are going to be seeing in Solara might be again full of action from the very beginning, and we would enjoy that. But with the teams who are still struggling, as you can see, completely towards the top, where DRS and Titan Esports Club were there, I think DRS should take maybe a dive in the other direction, try to bide information and then play for eliminations.
Man, dude, I think, they just need to keep this one simple. Run, right? You do not want to deal with early heat. Not today. I mean,
Not
earlier stages, maybe the South Asian plains, the first couple of games, you want to play around, maybe, yeah. But, when it's your last 6 games, you want to give it all your everything you've got, right? Let's check out the predictions here, Lucifer. I think 3 teams are going to be able to step into that final ring and potentially pull away some solid points. You think you've got your 3. Let's see who they are.
Now see, when we come to predictions, right, this is us just dabbling between, is there a chance that we also maybe are right? And with that, I think we both having 3 similar names, but in just different order. I was like, hey, when I was putting it up, I saw just 2 names. I did not think all 3 were same, but in different orders. Falcon, Bangla Unity and SHUL Esports. But honestly, I think this is just both of us putting based on their previous records of what they have managed to achieve on Solara. So yes, it had to be this.
Yeah, some say, great minds think alike. Some say idiots think alike. So I don't know, Lucifer, where we fall. But either way, these are the teams we think might be able to do something out there. At the same time, I acknowledge a team like Falcons, they don't really need to do much. They can sneeze and they can still end up in the grand final. So I don't know if or not they're going to be taking a very serious day. But looking at the fact that they are quite far down the bottom 12. I do know they're not just going to sleep the whole day, hence the reason why I threw them in there. But I think, today is a day where predictions can literally be thrown out of the window, because today is the day where even the underdog of the underdogs will find fresh new breath of life out there in these battles. Let's see if or not game number 1 brings us exactly that. We drop on into Solara. Flight path looks absolutely fair, cutting from Aquarium down to Waterfall. And Bangla Unity looks like they're going to be absolutely safe at Bayside.
Now, when we saw Aquarium yesterday, AG Global, when they headed there, they were completely troubled. They were one of the first teams to be eliminated. So today, they're going to be a tad bit more cautious. Delta Isle, we did see RRQ that somebody else will join them, but as of now, it doesn't seem to be the case. Titan Esports Club at Bloomtown, close to TV Tower, where SHUL Esports have taken one of their players, at least split away from them, so that's information being gained. Demon's Pride on the other end, at the hub, they have a little dabble that they have to be worried about. A little bit of an early clash that they have to face. That is going to be with DRS. And DRS, we spoke about it. Run. This shouldn't be something that you should take right in the very beginning.
Yeah, but for DRS is the only team that I think I will just say something else, right? Just take all of the fights, man. Just prove yourself in each and every single one of those battles, because it might just be a tad bit too late for them. They're way too low down the leaderboard. Extreme X is one of those squads as well who looks like, making it to the grand finals might be a thing of an impossible hope. So I'm just hoping for them to just go all out in whatever battles they get. Just give us some surprising, shocking moments where we can just lose our minds and give them a good shout out. Pratik, Winchester in hand, Alu backing away. It's a 2v4. They don't have the numbers here. Still, they stay to take the battle. They can't run away from this fight. Already, Pratik going to be tickled by that ice grenade. Valiant Dash breaks down the defenses. Jazzy right inside the dome. And he gets the triple drop. Stroax out of nowhere. And that's what I'm talking about. The Rail Soldiers giving us something to get excited about.
That was incredible. There was such a quick turnaround coming in from DRS. And on the other end, SHUL, now we spoke about this. They might be trouble, but they were the ones who decided to make a move. But what just happened? SHUL, along with another team, together played and eliminated Aurora. That's the first squad with only one elimination down, and AG Global, they heard all of these sounds, and now SHUL Esports have to be worried about it. One of their players just got revived, so he doesn't have the best right now investment in terms of a fight, so they have to buy some time. But AG Global, look at how methodical they are. They've surrounded SHUL. They don't have any good exits as of now. If SHUL decide to move out of the building, they'll be caught.
Again, Aurora is just one of those squads who have the mentality that they don't need to do much at all. Jack, though, valiant dash, tries to get Cypher, but Cypher just wiggles his way out, turns around, Mag 7s him down to the ground, but he's going to be trolled on as S8UL back away from that engagement because they can depend on Bunny, who's on a revival spree. So everybody going all out there in those battles as Bunny focuses on picking up more coins, bringing them back in. They're just looking for elimination points by the looks of it.
Elimination points as they try to look forward to it. Even Titan Esports Club wants some total winners player. One of them has been knocked, Aflatun, but a nice re-engagement by taking down Rahat. Blade wants to be ahead of it, but Trouble Sami strikes him down, and now Titan Esports Club are facing more difficulty. Rahat, who just got up, he's been again taken down. FGL being used. Nejad quick on the run, tries the damage, and Kutush from far away. He's not on our screens, but still does the damage to try and buy some time for Nejad. He gets the revive back up. Total winner. While they've been clashing, while they've been trying to hold it off, it seems like there could be another third party here as DRS. They've heard the sound, AJ, and they're slowly getting closer.
Titans versus total winners. This is going to be a tough one. Bangladesh needs to make sure they've got their positioning right here. DRS on the way in. They want to be the third party. They want to pick up all these points. Semi down on the ground. Strowex takes him out with the AUG. And it looks like Titan Esports are about to be caught between a rock and a hard place with total winners right in front of them. And DRS slowly swooping on in.
DRS, this is what I spoke about. Blade is also down. Oh, that is more trouble. Stroex is unstoppable on the VSK, and Alu is giving them that information. Hunter again gets spotted. This time it's going to be Prateek with the Trogon taking him down. And it was a long fought battle, held for far too long by Total Winner. They almost had control, would have swept out Total Titan Esports Club. But that position, holding it off, taking the battle for far too long, and especially after the confidence that DRS right now have built, they are going to run through. And as you said, it seems like DRS have thought that through. They want to make sure, and we've had this a little bit in our hearts, that we want to see the teams from Nepal make their distance happen in FFMAI, take up those podiums for themselves, and they're trying to continue. But on the other end, Falcons trying to continue after they've been trying to slay down all the major big players. Now against them is RRQ KAZU.
A 3v1. Bye-bye, dear 18, says Pina. Racha from the back supporting with the M590. Falcons just dismantling RRQ, who have got zero motivation to do well today. Ma'al, the final player, is going to get spread down. Rans already revived by the squad, so he's still up in the air. He's not even down on the ground taking a fight just yet. RRQ survives just through the revive player. Falcons, on the other hand, 9 eliminations in hand already. And you guys saw exactly what happened to Titan Esports Club earlier on. It looks like the final player just got snuffed out.
Unfortunate. Bangla Unity picked that last player off. But right now, AG Global, it seems like SATL Esports, the fight still continues. It is now moving towards the TV tower from Casa Vista. SATL Esports have now followed that through. Nades being tossed, FGL being used, Cypher making a run once again. He was the one who found the opening. He's moving towards the IGL Prince, but Jack is here close by to provide cover. Baros, he's a little further away, and you look at Dew, he's even further away. Troll trying to find an opening. SATL Esports for the time being, they're holding their own, but Prince is above. He has land in control. Ball maker called. AG Global. They better be ready. SATL now decide to jump in. Prince made a little bit of a nifty. Did not wait for his teammate, and he's the first one to be knocked.
Man, instantly SHUL losing 2 players up against AG Global. A fantastic, a phenomenal flank by Dew. Just keeps their sniper at bay. Buddy's going to get taken out of the equation as well. And the pressure from that flank just puts SHUL in a very tough spot. They're going in for the hunt as well. I think they spotted that final player. In the meantime, it looks like AGL will just have fun looting up their opponents, which they just smash through.
AGL, Dew, he's the one who I think spotted, and that is the reason he was trying to go for a chase on Troll, but then gets surprised by Bangla Unity, who were keeping control of Eco Drain. And AG Global, they'll not be happy with what just happened, taking Dew down, and as you can see, all of them in one vehicle. They make their entry right here. Bangla Unity, they better be ready for this fight. AG Global are ready to right now conquer all the fights, want eliminations. On the top of the chart, they have 8 in total. Bangla Unity, they need the points. Whereas AG Global, they'll just try to take it all away. Flash freezes, jump and rush coming through. Dash being used by Raihan. Can he find an opening against Saifa? They find it rather than the Hunter. And Nameless getting taken down. Exchange being provided though. Saifa then goes towards Hunter, puts him down as well. Now Barrow's moving in, Sian taken down, and this is just trouble. One after another for Bangla Unity.
Man, I mean, AGL, just a different breed altogether. Bangla Unity finding that out personally in an encounter up against them. Beerus with the stealth bites, able to get away for the time being. My goodness, but he hasn't put enough distance between himself and the AGL player. I'm afraid the one chasing him might just be Dew. Long range Dew should be able to snipe Beerus out of the equation here. He needs to dip away by the foot of this hill, and he does exactly that. No line of sight anymore. Bangla Unity actually stands a chance for a triple revival, just like what you saw Troll do earlier on for SHUL, as he brought back the full squad in. But DRS up against Demon's Pride earlier on. This was one of the cleanest flanks they have pulled off. Pratik, with that Riptide rhythm off of Takuri, just makes use of it perfectly. Precious Madara, and those boys just had nothing on them. DRS still on a phenomenal roll.
Yeah, they've acquired 11 eliminations in total. This looks brilliant for them. A game that they started while they did not have much points, but they are continuing in aggression. DRS now have another challenge. Extreme X to Scene, back and forth, gets taken off, and Strox, he's been just brilliant on that VSK. That's the opening they needed. They get the confirmation as well. Moving in, Riptide Rhythm, now that blows open, causing trouble. Flash freezes trying to buy some time. Rusty and Sijan put a little bit of a distance. Now they toss more of their flash freezers, melters, but DRS have a brilliant defense cover on this arsenal that they want to control and hold off. But they cannot prolong this fight. On the horizon, we even see the Falcons. It is better to take this fight with Extreme X and put them down, or rather get troubled by Extreme X. And opening there, it is Racha. He puts Strox down, the man with the sniper who was troubling everybody. Now out of the game for DRS, so the soldiers have to just run and go and take down Extreme X.
Yeah, they're going in for the jump here. Sejan all alone. Takuri sprayed down. The Falcons dropping by. DRS in a lot of trouble. They have to back away from this engagement. Sejan baited them up towards the top floor, but all of those players might just get dropped here. Sejan finds Alu as well. Things turning very sour for the players on the side of DRS. Limit finds Sejan. And the Southeast Asian monster just swooping on and punishing two South Asian teams at the same time with the ambush.
Very important was Strox, and as soon as it gets taken down, Pratik, the last man standing, he is done for, and that is an end for DRS in a run that they just started. Looked so brilliant. Unfortunate for DRS, but Extreme X similar, somehow they still managed to survive. Same can be said for SHUL Esports. Troll made a run from AG Global and would be able to revive his whole squad, but they're again moving the same direction of All Gamers Global. Dew, he's been caught out. I think they destroyed their vehicle, and now Dew is out in the open. SHUL want to pin and put him down. Shots being taken, but Dew is still surviving. SHUL Esports, they're back converted quickly, and finally Troll connects. He was waiting for this. And that is the elimination they find. Now the fight still does not stop. They still have teams to be worried about in and around.
Revenge is sweet, isn't it? Beautiful shot off of Troll earlier. Forced to play super revival by the AGAL squad earlier on. And now they personally, or he has personally taken down the biggest and most annoying threat of AGAL. Their sniper, who's been aggressively leading them around the battlefield. Dear 18 will not be able to join the rest of his brothers as he gets sprayed down. Fina just catching hold of that opportunity. 15 eliminations already for Falcons. RRQ slowly picking up numbers for themselves as well, but clearly on a very slow run here. Not super motivated to find those big recoveries.
But a great recovery and a record to be set is what I think Falcons are inching on. And you were right to call me out there to not speak about what happened yesterday. These Southeast Asian monsters have been awakened right now and are looking unstoppable. 16 eliminations in total, now getting ready for another. On the other end, Team Apex Gaming, everybody has an eye on them that they also have a chance of their qualification. Right now, they stand at the 12th spot in the overall standing. They need a lot more points because anybody else can take that spot away. And right in front of them is SHUL Esports.
Let's see how they hold this one. Oh man, RRQ on the revives, just being snuffed out here. SHUL just managed to look behind at the right timing, spotted two players flying back in. They instantly take them out of the skies. And it looks like RRQ on another revival here, potentially to feed SHUL, who are still very, very hungry. Yes, they do spot the player flying out of the skies, heading straight on in. Bunny finds Pina. Pina down on the ground in a bit. Can they shoot him out? Oh, they spot him. Yes, they do. It's just farming time for SHUL.
3 eliminations so far is what they've farmed. All from the sky. They're not putting down any seeds on the ground. They're the ones who are picking and plucking players off on and above. DP Dominators, in the meantime, they pick off a player from AG Global, but that ends up being the last player for them. The other two were picked by SHUL Esports, but they also get taken down by the region of their own, the teams of their own, the competitors. Total winner put Demon's Pride out. SHUL, in the meantime, as the zone's about to close, the circles made a shift. They decide to take the launch pad, make a jump, but they have trouble to be worried about. But right behind trouble is also Bangla Unity, who are slowly making their move, putting down the monster trucks, and right behind Team Apex Gaming.
Oh, beautiful. Troll was the only one that made the rotation here for SHUL. Nobody spots him. Prince, so you gotta take that shot now. Prince joins him up on the roof as well. The stealth fights kept him safe for the time being. Falcons, on the other hand, finding a player from the side of RRQ. And how in the world did Rams find that 180 up against 3 players? But that doesn't matter. That knock was all it was. Instant recovery from Falcons as they take Rams out of the equation. Abe brings him right back in. Extreme X attacking RRQ from the back. Abe will not be able to pull in any more revivals. Yes, he does manage to find the first knock, but Troll takes him out of the equation. Extreme X will steal that elimination away from Falcons.
Falcons, they have control of the circle. Extreme X, while they've taken the RRQ player out, it is still going to be trouble for them. The zone's closing in. Blue walls being called, making sure that they have defenses. On top of that, multiple monster trucks also being put down. Raksha gets hit by one of them. Melters being used. Keroro right in front, doesn't want to allow, and there's the opening. Doubles down on the nade. Rusty into Scene gets taken down. Now they're going to make a rush. Revive's been given, but they'll not be ready. Patched up and fight. All going on. Raksha puts Rusty down again. To Scene, he's trying his best, but his teammate Sejan also in trouble. The zone's closing in, chipping on their health. Sejan gets taken down with the M590. And Falcons have Extreme X surrounded and nowhere to run. As to Scene, another nade is what he receives by Kiroro, and this Grenadier is unstoppable.
Man, that's just a GG. Unfortunate for them indeed. And it looks like Apex is out as well. Team Apex Gaming, fairly early exit if you ask me. We're not even with them on a heavy run with the points here, so we'll need to see more out of Apex later. Only SAUL was very noisy one this time around with those eliminations. Total winners backing away, and DA18, RRQ somehow just hanging on for their dear lives here through this guy. And I think the circle has left him high and dry already.
I have no clue how he did, but we did see Abe around the edges of the studio. One more of his teammates. Somehow they've been in various different directions. Falcons. They are making a run towards SHUL Esports, but Flicker is right behind them. The zone started to shift in the other direction, which gives more space to the Falcons. And Pina finds an opening, but it's a quick exchange by Bunny. But can they continue this aggression? Trolls brought back to life. The snipers back again active. Not allowing Falcons to get closer, but the shots still being taken. Peppering coming in from the side of Falcons, not allowing SHUL Esports any access, but SHUL also understanding that the zone's shifting. They make use of this big compound walls as their defenses.
Oh yeah, beautiful play by SHUL here on the rotation. Just need to be careful on the flank towards the right. They do have the Time Turner and the Steffi available on their side, so Painted Refuge can be pulled out. Those grenades out of Kororo will do nothing to SHUL the moment they start to defend. Falcons will have a disadvantage up against SHUL here. As Total Winners tries to tease that Steffi out of them, they're not going to find that just yet. Falcons backing away, looking for a weaker team as they realize the rotation out of SAUL was just too strong, and Extreme X do not have the numbers to deal with them. Falcons swoop on in. They pick up the final player, Extreme X, out in 5th.
Extreme X Flicker was the only man standing, and it was very tough to do in a position like this at studio as the zone's closing in. But Falcons, the zone's now closing at there, and they wanted to make a move. They wanted to be ahead of SHUL, but SHUL as well, using that compound now not for too long. Deer 18 in the meantime, clutching on to the amount of medkits that he has to try and survive. And nobody's batting an eye, but just as about to talk about it, Total Winner will be able to spot him up as soon as he props up to try and go ahead of the play zone. And with that, it comes down to the last three teams in our final circle. Total winner, SATL Esports and Falcons. SATL want to get ahead of it, but they've been troubled by Total winner, but they're using the glue walls as well as the UAVs to make it across. Troll is the first one who does it. Jack, he gets taken down. Bunny wants his run, but Total winner have the roof under control, and Falcons, look at this, they take their advantage and they put Prince down, troubling SATL Esports and ruining their numbers and chances.
Yeah, Prince just didn't see that one coming, and Limit X7 was just a meanie right behind the wall with a backstab. And up close and personal, AWM, he takes him out of the equation. Limit, though, just one with Mother Nature, hiding behind the tree bark, and that keeps him safe for the time being. Falcons want to farm the biggest number of points out of this lobby so far. The highest number of eliminations in a certain lobby has been 24. Many teams have managed to reach that. Falcons looking to break that record in this very first game of the day. Total winners have got 3 lives to reap. SAUL have got 2 souls to take away. Falcons might just be the biggest Grim Reaper in this lobby. Racha, Limit X7, beautiful rotation in. Total winners are now not in trouble, but S8UL, who are spread out and so close to the edges of those circles, are in deep trouble.
Big trouble for SATL Esports. Players are not together. On the other hand, Falcons, we've always commended their rotation, the use of their glue walls, of how well they make it across without even chipping down or losing a player. And this time as well, there were 3 men once they were exiting the studio, and they're still 3 men strong. Total winner on the other end, who had all their 4 players, have lost one. Aflatun is the only one on top of the roof. But look at Troll. He makes sure that Total winner do not have the best chance. Prince gets knocked instantly. Bunny making a run. Troll wants to help, but Falcons have it there. Eye ready on him. Limit X puts him down. Aflatun was also there in that mix, and Prince finally puts even Bunny down. Now Falcons know what they have to do and where the next challenge is, and with that, nades being tossed, freeze being used. Aflatun is the only one as Prince goes down. Launches used, and Aflatun, there is nothing that he can do as the zone's closing in, and Falcons want to set a record of their own in the main event in terms of the total points they acquire.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Aflatun has got no chance here whatsoever. Right outside the circle, takes a ton of damage up against 3 players of Falcons. He tries to get away, but the zone snuffs him out. No final point awarded to Falcons, but they're not going to care because they've earned quite a lot already through those eliminations. And I believe in this game, Falcons has managed to set a brand new elimination record, as well as total points record picked up in a game within the main event. If I'm not mistaken, 25 eliminations should have gone their way. That makes for a total of 37 points just in game 1 for Falcons.
But from the very beginning itself, they've looked super aggressive. As you can see, this is just before that final fight between 2 teams. They already have 22 eliminations. And now, in front of them, they had almost 5 more players, out of which at least we saw 2 of their eliminations being grabbed just by the Falcons. 1 from the player of SATL Esports and 2 from the side of Total winner itself. And that gave an opportunity. This is the last shot that we ended up seeing. Aflatun tried to make his run, the zone doing the damage. The only thing that he did not do... The only thing that he did do over there was not give away the elimination to Falcons. He just ran away, took the damage coming in from the zone and went out. However, Falcons, for them to hold their own in terms of how they were rotating, even how they had a little bit of a trouble with one of the players of RRQ, and they were right at center in studio, and they still held themselves really well, is just brilliant. And just by 1 point they beat that, as you mentioned, 25 eliminations, the highest record in the main event, and even 37, the highest in total points.
Fun fact, they beat the record here in the main event, but they still haven't beaten the record set by S8UL Esports. We saw what they did in Solara on their final day of play at the South Asia Play-ins, a total of 29 eliminations. No booyah, 9 points, but that was 38 points, right? So yeah, that's definitely the number to beat. Team Falcons not too far away from that. S8UL, although we did see quite a lot of participation from them in multiple engagements down to that final circle, they just could not farm such an aggressive lobby, because I tell you, everybody was hot. But the saddest part for me in this first game was DRS Gaming meeting that early exit. They were very unfortunate. They went in for the chase on 2S Stream X, and Team Falcons appeared out of nowhere, ending their run, which could have actually been the start to a miraculous day here for the Nepali squad. But Kororo with the MVP, 9 eliminations, 4,118 on the damage. Holy Lord. I think I actually saw a damage highlight by Limit X7, and he was already on 4K. If Kororo also got 4K, this team was extremely active, tagging everybody up there on the battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, this man was so crucial, and he was one of the reasons even Extreme X, who almost looked like they were having their own run, they were able to find eliminations. He put that run to an end. The amount of nades he was tossing, putting players down, not giving them a chance. Flicker tried survival, did not work out. 4,000 damage coming in from his end, and this is also something new that we are seeing. Players who are having the A124 on top of being the grenadier for the team, they also bring the Moko in play. This just tells us that how teams are even in their passive. We spoke about one unique active skill within the team in your players itself. They do a change in the passives as well to make the best of it all.
Absolutely, man. Chrono A124 Mars Oscar clearly shows me that the team of Falcons were planning to go out for a very ambush sort of a setup, right? Especially with Limit X7 on the Mars, them flanking, constantly finding a great position for their sniper to play that advantage. Even in that final circle where you saw the S8UL player lose his life to a backstabbing Limit X7, that's exactly what makes this Mars so dangerous. And if you look on the front lines, you've got the time turner used in a very aggressive manner, and it's proven through the numbers out of Racha here as well, right? 10 assists he got for himself, 5 eliminations, 6 knockouts, and obviously the whole squad of Falcons just lighting up the battlefield today on this first match in itself. Again, a record for sure here in the main event through those eliminations, and I don't think you can expect this from all 6 games out of Falcons, because they're not the kind of team to overextend when they don't need to. You're probably going to get a game like this one more time potentially from Falcons just to see if they can outdo RRQ overall, but I hope I don't see too much of this.
This is one thing about the teams from Southeast Asia. They don't try to over-exhaust themselves. They'll try to do what is necessary and then put an end to that run and then figure out in the grand finals, because that is where the crown is actually waiting for everybody. Whereas some of the teams like Bangla Unity and all of the other Bangladeshi teams, even the teams from Pakistan, even Demon's Pride, who expected to do a lot, they get rather tad bit exhausted because they try to over-exaggerate everything that they have. But let's talk about how Falcons in general moved around. They were going around in all the directions, and that is one of the reasons they were able to pick multiple fights in their favor. However, SATL Esports, they had an initial unfortunate clash around the TV tower and Casa Vista, but then they started moving towards Studio where the circle was. That was with AG Global. Somehow they fended themselves off from that and tried to make their move, which worked out in their favor. They were ahead of the circle, if not for Total Winner grabbing this final compound right next to that rail. I think SATL Esports would have had an opportunity. Total Winner just took that compound in full control. But even in that position, while they might have denied SATL Esports, you could see how Falcons are still able to just rotate the way they put down the glue walls and deny any opponents to take shots at them.
Yeah, I think the way Falcons were moving was just looking way too confident, right? I think if I was the other squads, if I was their coach, if I was their analyst, I would be very worried, because it looked like no moment in this game Falcons felt like they were under pressure. Falcons felt like they were in danger of losing the advantage towards getting that booyah. They were positioning themselves very confidently. Each and every single battle went their way. But I think as much as I respected the rotations of Falcons, I think S8UL gets the same exact amount of respect, right? They may not show it through the eliminations just yet, but I think all of those rotations were phenomenal from them. And speaking of rotations, it's actually going to be in a little bit more focus this time around, because this is the map where you're really going to see those marksmen as well as all of those snipers come out to play. Preferred drop spot shows us many potential early scuffles, man.
There are a lot, and it is very widespread. And yesterday as well, when we ended up seeing Kalahari game in terms of a play, it had a lot of fights and people were just getting shot in various different directions. It was very tough to dodge bullets coming through, and it is going to abide by that same rule, because again, we already saw in Falcons' end, they had a secondary sniper in play as well, which gives opportunity for teams in maps, especially such as Kalahari, to take those fights in even more confident manner. But one team I think here is going to perform exceptionally well, just like we witnessed them on day one, is going to be RRQ KAZU. We saw how clearly they held control of Kalahari. They didn't allow any teams in any close compounds of Refinery to get close. They were able to stall everybody, push everybody off, eliminate squads in case they decided that they want to hit Refinery. Never happened. So this could be their stronghold.
Yeah, absolutely. I think RRQ KAZU's going to be having a little bit of fun here. They used to be known as the dominators. In fact, the whole of Indonesia used to be known as the dominators of Kalahari until Thailand stepped in and Thailand took over, right? When Thailand was taking over, the new kings of Kalahari accidentally became Falcons. So I haven't really seen RRQ take it back from Falcons in a game where they were very actively looking for eliminations. Again, I think RRQ might not be extremely motivated to pick up big points, but Falcons will be looking to climb up the leaderboard a tad bit more. We can expect to see them in play quite a little bit. And of course, RRQ, I do expect them to recover from their previous game, but not by a lot. Let's see what our predictions have here for us, Lucifer. Because speaking of RRQ, they're not going to get a lot, but I think they're going to walk away with a booyah.
Yeah, in that terms, as we've said, in terms of our previous predictions as well, we have two names this time, and finally we've decided at least one does not match each other's predictions. I've gone in for total winner. Basis what Hot Shots ended up doing in the later games yesterday, I think maybe they'll find their way. We saw them in the final circle in just the previous game. But on the other hand, you've gone in for the Malaysian powerhouse of AURORA. We saw them in their start yesterday. They were looking incredible, and I feel like Solara was just one-off game. They just lost their footing. They were unable to put themselves back together, and they lost it. But now, just like how you were talking about Falcons, they want another game. They will put points on the board. AURORA will try to do the same because they also need to climb. They cannot let anybody else get a chance for themselves.
Yeah, maturity always used to be a problem for many of the players in the AURORA squad, right? And I'm not talking about maturity like being immature in conversations or whatsoever, but maturity in terms of decision making. Most of the time when you see AURORA picking up big points, they get a little bit overconfident, and then you start to see them slacking out there on the battlefield. I'm going to leave that first game to a little bit of that slack off from them. But recovery is going to, for sure, come out of this Malaysian squad, who are getting dangerously close towards the bottom of these 12 teams. I'm very sure they want to climb up a tad bit more, and they might just try to do that through those eliminations. As we fly on into this Kalahari map, it looks like the flight path has got some pretty interesting decisions for us today on those hot drops.
Yeah, it's moved that bit towards the west, which will maybe push teams to figure out if they can get closer, especially if teams on lots are moving towards Santa Catarina. But looking at the very early drops, Shrine seems clear. It's only DRS. AURORA also have Council Hall in full control and in command. RRQ in Refinery, no contention compared to the preferred drop spots that we saw. However, RRQ have a big wide spread. On the other end, we ended up seeing Bangla Unity as well as SATL Esports in close counters. Same at the maze with Extreme X and AG Global.
Extreme X in a lot of trouble here. AG Global early fight are super strong. And yes, you can see Dew is missing in action on the battlefield, which means he's already looking for a flank. Tusin's going to get sprayed down. Sejan, great play here. Nameless backs away from him, focusing on the pickup of Barros. Cypher, on the other hand, just handles Sejan in the meantime. Flicker bringing Tusin back in. So Extreme X having a little bit of an insurance policy here. Sejan's finally going to get sprayed down. And AGAL slowly but surely overwhelming the team of Extreme X. Rusty is the next one to be caught out here. Flicker has to back away from this compound.
He doesn't have any opportunities here because AG Global have multiple players, and he finally does back off as well. But the question is, does he have enough coins to see?
Tusin right back in it, and I am not so sure he should have come in here for the retail. Tries his best to scurry away. Dew is just not there with them in the compound, or he would have been toast. His car's on fire, and the fate of his team nearly got sealed there by leaving Flicker as their final player, but luckily Tusin manages to get away. Falcons, on the other hand, bumping into the players on the side of DRS. Apex finding themselves a Bangla Unity squad. Sihan with the time turner, perfect on the defense. Sahiljat can't do much with the mini Uzi, but as I say that, he shuts down Hunter, who makes a wrong-timed jump, and the mini Uzi punishes early.
Team Apex Gaming, it almost looked a little troublesome, but they were quick on the revives. The players are gliding above, but command post, we already spoke about it. SATL Esports were also close by, and Sahil Jat, he has to clear and move in the other direction, and timing so efficient that he moves out, and SATL Esports, they grab that elimination on Bangla Unity. But Shoto with the M1917 goes in for the challenge against Prince with the finisher, gets the elimination. Now Team Apex Gaming turning the heat towards SATL Esports. Jack also gets taken down, and SATL Esports completely caught off guard. They thought that one player who was stuck was the only player, but Team Apex Gaming instantly turned things around.
Dandanaka, boss. They got caught out. Unfortunate. SHUL on the recovery streak now. Total winners will be the distraction for the time being as Apex looks to loot up the boxes of the SADUL players. Demon's Pride tagged up by AGAL. Barros with a VSK from afar. In fact, AGAL usually runs a 4-man long-range setup. So I'm expecting those VSK in each and every single player's hands. Cypher already on the flank with the quad, trying to shut them down from the back. Nameless with a P90, looking for Aswab. Madara too low to do much here. Finally uses the medkit. Not punished by anyone just yet. Jazzy jumps in to pile the numbers up. Now Nameless might just be in a tad bit of trouble here if Barros does not get a good line of sight.
Nameless trying to buy some time. Barros finally gets spotted by Madara. Shots being taken. Barros has to patch himself. And Jazzy quickly running up with the shorty that he has on hand. But Nameless will not give him that opportunity with the help of Barros on the VSK. Now Dew is also here. Demon's Pride trouble is increasing for them. Aswad gets taken down. Madara has a Trogan, but what can he do? And those mines that help out. Cypher gets knocked, but that is not going to be helpful as Madara will be confirmed and Cypher will be back on his feet.
Yeah, well-timed A124 there from the side of AGAL. Just taking the chances of survival up against them from 50 to absolutely nothing. Just dismantling the squad of Demon Pride. And Demon Pride is just lucky that they had one player far away from that chaotic situation up against a very dominant-looking AGAL at this point of time. Total winners also got taken out super early here in this match. 10 players left. SADUL shot out of nowhere. Troll with the VSK. No elimination just yet. Barros now looking for that high ground as they try to figure out exactly where the Indian squad's hitting them from.
On the other end, it is Titan Esports Club who are very close to Aurora. Aurora, after having a very iffy start on Solara, they'll try to brush it off, but they need points. They want to climb up the rankings as well. Blade is up close. He's hearing the noise. Puts the glue wall to buy some time. Chrono being used as Azrael gets closer. Nejad helping out with Blade. Puts him down. But now Zuez, he makes it closer. Nejad is down. Jun now also having an angle. He has to exit. But Zuez tries to back inside the Arsenal. Rahat trying to trail that. And Jun as Zuez hold it off really well. Blade finally with low HP will be able to take the players down one after another. But the Riptide Rhythm and the Axel helping out from afar. And Aurora. Wait, what? Kutush does the same thing even further behind the Axel and completely dismantles Aurora once again.
Axel thought he had the flank, but Kutush showed him, I can flank further, my friend, and you should always watch your back if you're the biggest bird in the sky. Because you never know, man. You never absolutely know exactly when a bigger apex predator about to show up. And in that moment, Kutush was that apex predator for the side of Titan Esports Club. Phenomenal stuff. Bangla Unity under a lot of pressure now. Here comes Tag, and it looks like Team Apex Gaming won all these points off of Bangla Unity. Shoto already with the pressure. He's picking up point after point. Raihan's going to be the next one. Sihan gets dropped with a tag team between Sahiljat and Wolwin, and they dismantle Bangla Unity in that engagement.
Sihan was trying to run pockets around these poses one after another, just running round and round. But Tag will be able to put them down. However, it's not a full squad wipe, but Katie got gets spotted. That's Falcons, and Falcons, once they have their prey in their scopes, they do not stop. And you can see already Falcons closing the distance here at Stone Ridge. Sahiljat with the VSK is ready, but he's seeing a lot more players. Kerora is already closed the distance. Damage only being done by Sahiljat, and then Kerora, he answers back with just an instant knock. But Blade from Titan Esports Club takes away the elimination from Falcons, and now Tag, they're forced to back off run, but they're not safe. In the other direction, there's already Titan Esports Club, and Kutush puts Shoto down. Now Wolvin gets him back quickly, and they're running in the other direction. But Blade, he knows they're already in trouble. Their damage, they're not great here. They're just right now held by bandages, and there it is, the Oscars variant dash to break the defenses of Tag, and Shoto is the last one standing. Glue walls in multiple, but for how long? Melt is being used. Nejad is ready. Rahat on the outer end, but the zone's closing in. Titan Esports Club decide rather to back off and leave Falcons to take this last elimination for themselves.
It's all about the representation, baby, and this time Titan Esports Club absolutely smashing up until
AG Global?
Falcons showing up with a little bit of extra strength, and AG Global knocks their heads from the back. Cypher with the advantage taken towards his side, and Southeast Asia suddenly the main ones in this battle. Limit X7 will be putting a lot of pressure from the back, and Dew though takes Racha out of the equation. 3 players left here on the side of AGAL. Might be 2 if Dew gets taken out as well.
He's down for the count. Nameless and Cypher, the last 2. Falcons, they want their opportunity here. Take the players down. Keroro is close by, but Nameless is quick. Picks Dew back up, but he gets taken down once more. The use of the launcher. Keroro, as the grenade, has been just brilliant. Cypher in trouble. He gets taken down by Limit X7, and then Racha puts him down, and all gamers global. They're done for here, and Falcons looking forward to a lot more points. 11 in total again acquired, and this is just the beginning. 10 minutes are not yet done on the clock, and they already have 11 eliminations.
I mean, that was just beauty out of Racha, like a tightrope walker on those glue walls, just running around. What can you do when your defense literally has your opponent standing on it, right? It's not going to protect you at all. In fact, it gives him that great elevation to just snuff you out without doing much. And of course, they had the advantage with numbers. Extreme X do not have those extreme numbers through eliminations. But they're still alive and kicking, looking for that recovery on play. SA2L up against RRQ is a battle we'll just need to wait for a tad bit longer. I don't expect either one to go rushing at each other this moment. Falcons taking their own sweet time outside the circle as they rotate in.
Something they've been doing, AJ. I think it's working for them. They always make a move right behind enemy lines, and they are all surprised, caught off guard in multiple different fights. And Titan Esports Club trying to pull off one such similar thing against Extreme X, and elimination confirmed. It seems like Titan Esports Club are also on that same thought of rising up the ranks already in terms of having 12 eliminations. A quick replay towards what happened between Total Winner as well as Team Apex Gaming. Sahil Jat, Shoto, they get taken down, and more players start swarming in. This is where Titan Esports Club also put a dent for Total Winner. Nejad and Rahat, they've been looking brilliant, and once again, Total Winner unfortunate on their run. They won't want to move forward, but they get completely taken down and out of Kalahari.
Yeah, the acquired Red Hawks are looking more dangerous than we have ever seen them. Swabbed, almost taken out there as he tried to quickly reposition. SA2L might have a good line of sight against Aswab as tries to get away from the Southeast Asian team. Utush brings Blade back in, so it looks like Titan Esports will have 4 men in the final circle, unless of course someone shoots their buddy out of the skies here.
Falcons.
Don't look up, guys.
As of now, they aren't, but Titan Esports Club, Blade, it seems like he did take a hit, and there it is. It didn't come from the Falcons. It's going to be from Extreme X, and Titans, they were the ones who did actually take a hit on Extreme X, get the elimination. And now being outside the zone is going to affect them. They would want to get inside. Rahat instantly brings back Blade once more, but they don't have a compound to help Blade out in case and instance of he is inside a position which could be safe. And there it is. This time it's going to be the Falcons themselves. They spot a bird completely unfamiliar. They're like, who's flapping the wings? It's not us. It should be somebody else, and we have to pluck their feathers out.
I think the teams who are only playing one team booster here need to rethink their strategy, because when they have the player with the team booster taken out, surviving outside these circles, looking for those revives just becomes a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
And as you can see, Falcons doing exactly what I'm talking about. They've got the 6 team boosters who's activated here. Even if they get one of their players taken out of the equation, can still have the other 3 to depend on. But let's see if or not teams from Bangladesh will catch up with that, because I do know they love those enhanced hammers, and they don't want to give up their attack markets as well, Lucifer.
Not at all, but I agree with you on these team boosters, and that is one of the reasons how Falcons have been able to hold themselves off at the edges of the zone, tanking damage, still not completely losing their opportunity. And that is also one of the reasons that teams become confident now that they know what they want to do in terms of their passive, in terms of their pockets, in terms of their builds. which will eventually work for them. And right now, making something, at least in terms of a distant fight, is Extreme X. Was only a knock that we ended up seeing, but what is happening to Tag? Team Apex Gaming, in a consecutive manner, ended up losing 2 of their players. I think this is outside the zone. But inside, it is RRQ KAZU once more trying to hold off without allowing a team to get closer. It's Demon's Pride who are the closest. They did not allow them. Melters being used, glue walls not being allowed to prop up, and Demon's Pride have to take a different course of action for this battle.
RRQ quickly repositioning, understanding the Demon's Pride do not have a big advantage. Yeah! And Flicker out of nowhere, interfering. Ma'al knocked down to the ground. Can they take him out? The answer is no, as RRQ sets up a double glue wall perimeter around Ma'al, picking him right back up. Troll finds Sahil Jad, just shots all around the battlefield as the circle starts to close in. Everybody jumping into action.
Even Shoto on the other end did pick up SATL players Esports. Oh, Extreme X, they seem like they want to trouble. But when I spoke about SATL Esports, they finally challenged. Shoto was the last man standing. But look at RRQ. They take advantage of Extreme X's knock found, and Demon's Pride are losing players. Nades being tossed. Now Flicker trying to trouble RRQ, who decided to take this challenge, convert. Demon's Pride, the last survivor, made a jump. He's out of here. But Rans, he gets taken down. That's going to be Bunny from afar from SATL Esports. This is RRQ being just challenged in various different directions. But because of the distance, RRQ will still be able to hold themselves off. Mal, now with his AWM, has spotted the player, but the shot's not connecting. He is inching that some of the players, maybe at the ridge's edge, make a move and then crack open that headshot.
2 sits down already. Extreme X being dismantled here by Falcons. Just one by one, they bump on into them. Lightning Zone called out as well. Question is, who brings this out for the play? Limit X taken out. Falcons losing 1 to the zone. Sejan all alone, barricading himself in with the glue walls. Didn't expect to find Pina on the right-hand side as he broke on out. Racha pressuring him with the cord. And Falcons again with another massive game as expected.
SATL as well looking forward to their own massive game. They continually trouble, just like how we saw Extreme X. Now SATL Esports, Ma'al gets taken down. Bunny, brilliant stuff. Abe wanted to make a run and he finds Jack, who was trying to patch himself up. Instantly glue walls that entrance of the container, and SATL Esports are in trouble. But Deer 18, he gets knocked. Prince, he wanted to continue that aggression but fails, and on the other end, Abe, he's the last one standing, will confirm these eliminations. But unfortunately, SATL Esports' last survivor, if he was close by, there would have been a chance that he could have recovered them. But the zone's closing in. Abe doesn't have a lot to go on here. He has to make a move ahead, but he doesn't have enough space. Falcons have gotten closer. SATL Esports Troll now seen running across, and Falcons have now 2 players of 2 different teams right in front, and Peanut takes the first. That's going to be with a flash freeze, and that is SATL Esports out for the count now. Abe, he has a challenge in a 1v1. It's going to be Flicker, but Falcons say that's not going to happen. Nobody's going to take away eliminations when we are the ones standing above all in the Hills Ridge. And now Abe, his position compromised. RRQ, I don't think there's an opportunity, and they also get taken down. That's Falcons.
Blade stealing that point away, getting a knock on to Pina, but gets obliterated by the grenade out of the M79. Valiant effort, but of course Falcons with a back-to-back booyah to show everyone that they are the most dominant Southeast Asian team who will climb the leaderboard today. I don't know if anybody knows, but they're definitely chasing RRQ KAZU.
Yeah. It seems like we even spoke about that. Can we see a new record for FFMAI? And it seems like Falcons do not want to allow anybody trying to break that record. Even they were United, Horus ended up falling short of around 19 points. So Team Falcons are like, we've set it in stone for the very first season of FFMAI, and it'll continue for seasons to be counted by everybody throughout. But you have to give kudos to even SATL Esports once again. They tried their best, fought against RRQ, but it's just that positioning, numbering that they did not have once they moved and jumped towards RRQ. And Troll, as a sniper, was trying to hold off in case he had any angles in that fight. Did not have access to it. However, Falcons, who are on top of the hill, having the ridge advantage for themselves, took down players one after another. But as you said, Blade taking down that one elimination, stealing it away, still did trouble on Pina, did get the knock. But that M79, the nade being used, this is just brilliant from Keroro, one after another.
And it's just so amazing how they can confidently just guarantee themselves a spot in the final circle, 2 games in a row, 2 separate maps, but the dominance is just so dangerously similar, right? No record-breaking run, but who cares? Again, they get the booyah and they walk away with 19 eliminations this time. Titan Esports Club right behind them with the 22 points. RRQ KAZU close, but not close enough. But we all have to talk also about how Titan Esports Club managed to dominate this dominate this game, right? In terms of every single engagement they got, in terms of interfering in other teams as the third party, they pulled this off phenomenally every time they got a chance.
Yeah, I think it was only when both Falcons and Titan Esports Club met each other, that's when Titan Esports Club went down. Otherwise, it was just Titan Esports Club more than the Falcons running around getting eliminations for themselves. All Gamers Global as well, unfortunate, they had 10 eliminations, but they still get taken down. However, on the overall standings, they're still in the top 12. Nothing much to be worried about. But look at Falcons. When we started the day, they were close towards the elimination spectrum, but right as now, instantly, they've jumped to the hashtag 3, 169 points with them. All Gamers Global as well with their 8 points at 138. Aurora Gaming, even though they've not had the best game so far, but because what they did yesterday, consistent in terms of picking points, they're at the 9th spot at 119. But Makna, while these teams who have not completed the 12 games are now picking up points, they're slowly being pushed. Team Apex Gaming right below them, Titan Esports Club, Demon's Pride, even though they are not having a great time, it seems like they might still stand a chance to move up if there is an opening.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like I said at the start of the show, the 2 teams who were definitely in deep waters is Autobots Esports and Makna. And that has been proven through this match as Autobots gets kicked out of the top 12. They're definitely not going to make it into the grand finals as they've already completed their 12 matches. Makna is soon to join them. Who will take their place? We'll find out in a little bit. Game MVP, though, this time around, Raja for the side of Falcons. But again, man, whenever Falcons out there performing, it's always a team game. I didn't really see Raja stand out very special, from the rest of his team members. But what he does very well out there is play the defense. He's actually the support player of the squad. And as you can see, he doesn't actually depend on any healing whatsoever, but mainly focuses on the pickup. The rest of the team members just have to figure it out with their own medkits inside that time turner, which brings me to the point that Chrono has been executed perfectly with the timing for Raja time and time again for the side of Falcons.
Yeah, and as you spoke about the pickup, it's very crucial that he has the Joseph, meaning nobody's going to disrupt in his traverse, in his journey of him running around, making sure they bring their players one after another back up. But on top of it, we already saw the same skills being used by everybody from the side of Falcons, A124, Oscar and Morse, one after another, with the Arvon and Beaston coming through. And you mentioned about the team boosters, teams having only one team booster and not playing with maybe more will affect them in terms of survivability, and that is already doing it. And Falcons, just because of that, right, we always talk about it, some entity that is unknown, some entity that you cannot control. If you let it go, it'll still trouble your mind, and I think that's what Falcons have under in control. They do not want to be worried or hit upon some elements that they cannot control. Rather, they'll put up a defense prop as team booster, and from there on keep firing, which is good for them, which they're known for.
Yeah, this is what I mean by a team effort, man. Look at everybody throwing in, a lot of numbers out there. The weakest player, quote unquote, is Kororo with 8 assists, 3 eliminations, 5 knockouts, and 2,509 on the damage. How's that for some numbers? Everybody performing really well here. Limit X7, I would say, underperformed in this game. Yes, he got 6 eliminations. Yes, he got 6 knockouts. But usually, he has got more than 4,000 damage at the very least. I don't think he was allowed to play a very aggressive game this time around. Falcons were definitely a little bit slower, which is obviously saying a lot since they still managed to walk away with a lot of eliminations plus the booyah.
Yeah, you can see, I think both Falcons and Titan Esports Club, Falcons went north, whereas Titan Esports Club at the command post where they take up fights one after another. Both of them meet at Stone Ridge. Here is where things went off for Titan Esports Club. Until then, from command post till Stone Ridge, they were fighting everybody, picking them all off, and after that, they never got a position. As you can see, Blade just constantly get picked one after another. It was just revives happening, whereas Falcons, once they made their way towards Stone Ridge, had control of that southern edge of Kalahari. From there there on, nobody had any other say. Maybe RRQ would have had a chance. RRQ, when they were trying to fight with Demon's Pride, we saw that, right? If not for Extreme X, who caused trouble, who were not allowing RRQ to completely open up on that fight, get those eliminations, and once RRQ tried, they got then hit by Extreme X plus SATL Esports. Then SATL Esports completely charged, and RRQ were just almost under the water and they had nothing left for themselves. Same happened for SATL Esports. In terms of that strategy, just missing with the finesse, Falcons took this away because they were ready, prepped and good for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think, all of the teams trying to make it into the final circle, they're definitely going to have a rough time out here today because we've got, the Southeast Asian monsters, Falcons and RRQ in. But, I'm actually very surprised that one monster that I did expect to really go all out today is barely doing anything. That's AURORA from Malaysia, right? They haven't had a great 2 games back to back, but this time they're going to be dropping by at Cape Town. And if you look at the preferred drop spots out here from all of these squads, finally, I think we're going to have a little bit more peace and quiet at the very start. Even at Rimnam Village, there is a very big possibility that the hot drop between Total Winners and RRQ doesn't really break out in an all-out engagement. But for sure, if this does happen, RRQ will start off with 4 strong points.
Yeah, I mean, it might also be something for us to throw us off, but also looking at peak being only for SHUL and not much of a challenge. Sentosa having 2 teams could be something that we might see and might not as well, but it is going to be interesting. DRS, after what they did in our very first game of Solara, where they picked up points, could have continued that aggression, but unfortunately they get taken out when the fight with Falcons and Extreme X broke out. In this Kalahari game, we barely got to see them. That already puts their chances of qualifying into a dicey situation. So it now ends up becoming a long shot for them. However, the same situation is happening for Extreme X. They've barely managed to get points. They've troubled everybody, yes, but they've not acquired points. They've not looked at the top 8 in the game standings itself. For them to climb to the top 12, it's even more dicey. Same is happening for Total Winners. Somewhere these 3 squads are running in tandem. They're getting closer in terms of, hey, they're hitting the shots. Hey, they're getting some eliminations, but they're never making it to the top on the standings just because they're unable to be consistent.
Yeah, absolutely, man. DRS Gaming, you are very kind with your words. They actually had a long shot, to go at the very start of the day. It was a great start, but, nothing much came out of that. They need 106 points to clear the cutoff point from the remaining 4 games. So obviously, it's going to be very difficult. But let's check out what our predictions are for this next game as I continue on that point. Falcons, SHUL, Bangla Unity on my side. You've got RRQ, Bangla Unity, as well as Extreme X on your side. And the one commonality here is the fact that we both have Bangla Unity. I think I'm still waiting for the team to really wake up in this run because they desperately need some strong points for themselves. Within the next 4 games, they have to secure more than 65 points, which actually puts the average quite high for them. They can't afford any more early eliminations, Lucifer.
They cannot at all, at any cost, not Bangla Unity. And that is the reason I have Extreme X here in my prediction, #3, as a last try, a last chance for them if they are able to make it. They're sitting at around 61 points. And as you said, 100 points, if they're able to get, they are 160. Yes, the cutoff might be at 139, but we already, with a pinch of salt, said team should add plus 10 points to that. It is not easy. The predictions, the cutoff points, they are rising in terms of the heat. They are pushing teams beyond limits to cross in that manner. However, RRQ, SATL Esports, with my predictions, they've already done it on Bermuda, and that is the reason I think it is once again gonna happen. But Bermuda is where every team knows this entire grid. They know the terrain, but do they know their opponents enough to be crowned by fire?
If you look at this Bermuda map, you obviously want to look at some teams who have performed well. And the team that has performed the best so far is the team that you're banking on, Extreme X. 2 booyahs in their run, 36 eliminations on this Bermuda map, leading every other squad in terms of performance here, followed by Bangla Unity. These 2 teams from Bangladesh. But of course, today has been a really rough day for them. And this is when nerves really start tickling you, right? This is when you really get pressured, and we see how you perform under pressure. It's not looking good, but thankfully we have got 4 more opportunities, including this game, Lucifer.
Yeah, but as you said, it's not looking great, especially with teams such as Falcons who are already taking away the points. And now SHUL as well, taking it away from Demon's Pride. Aswab is down, Jazzy also goes down. Mini Uzi not working for Madara as well. Bunny and Jack both together with the help of Prince, who makes his entry a tad bit late, still doesn't affect. It's still 3 eliminations here at Bhima Sakti Strip. And at all times, whenever SHUL have stepped here, they've been troubled. But this is the first time I see a clear, clean, clinical elimination coming in from SHUL Esports.
Absolutely, and 3 eliminations for them, looking for that final player. No hit list to be purchased just yet, and I'm very sure Bunny is a tad bit tickled by that. Aurora, though, in a big fight. Falcons right in front of them, and this is going to be that big test that I talk about for Malaysia. They pass with the first one. June with the VSS up close and personal, puts Peanut down on the ground. The rest of the Falcons player not in front of Aurora just yet. You can see the jump pad putting a couple of their players right beside them. Peanut down on the ground. June once again strikes with the VSS. Turned on as Axel gets put down to the ground here. This is just a little bit of a slowdown for the Aurora squad, but in a big way, they're overwhelming Falcons, and this is that awakening that Aurora needs in this game to make a comeback.
They start off with 2. That was a brilliant play being made by them. As soon as they knew one of the players was close by, they knew at least one more should be further away. And they go gunning for that split, and that 2-2 works for them. As of now, they also use the UAV just to check the close quarters near the vending machine. Extreme X as well, trying to clear the close quarters. It seems like the real soldiers, DRS, are close by. There was a knock. Is there more to follow up is what we have to see. On the other end, Aurora are very clean. They're also looking for information on the Arvon. They get no information, and they know the position they are in is clean and clear for now.
Yeah, they are definitely hunting, and they expected Falcons to be at that vending machine, reviving the rest of their team members. So very smart strategizing and maneuver from the side of the Malaysian squad that we're expecting to wake up here. But of course, all they'll be able to pick off of the monster Falcons is just those 2 points. Extreme X under a lot of heat now as DRS shows up with a stronger presence. Alu with the backstab, M590 takes out the player. Tusin with the AUG up on top. It is the lightning zone called out by DRS. Extreme X cannot step out of their confines, and they do exactly that, getting tagged up by the lightning zone. This is not going to be a very pleasant experience for Tusin here, but he doesn't have a choice. Steps on out, Riptide Rhythm from afar. And DRS picks up yet another point through Alu.
Yeah, for one knock and elimination that DRS faced, they answer back by taking 3 of their players out. Brilliant stuff coming in from DRS.
Yeah, you run, DRS, you run. DRS scanned out peak with their binoculars, and they saw 5.
Yes.
And they were like, no, not today, not now. We're getting out of here. They get scanned out by someone's UAV, unfortunately. Just at the very edge of it. Duel, fine. Woven. And this is an unfortunate encounter for Team Apex Gaming, who are dangerously close to being relegated from the top 12 here. They need to work their way out of this. The last time we looked at the overall leaderboard, they were in the 11th spot. Getting taken out from this lobby early is not going to serve them any bit at all. Sejan too low to get away from this heat, and TAG at least picks up those solid points for themselves. And Team Apex Gaming starts off the elimination spree, but more importantly, they are on that revive spree.
But when we talk about revive, even SHUL, who we just saw at Bhima Sakti Strip, now facing trouble in Observatory. Falcons is what they face off. Bunny, Prince were already down, and the next player who made a run in, he also gets taken down. And Falcons, that's how they stall SHUL Esports. On the other end, Titan Esports Club, they have a challenge. That's going to be Bangla Unity. Rahat, he's already knocked. Another player spotted quickly, trying to take a damage on him. Sejan right in front, trying his best. It's not working out. Sian, he is finally put down by Najjar. Now, Najjar has another challenge that he has to put the player down. That's going to be Hunter in front of him, trying to take him down. And Hunter, he tries his best, and it does work out. Only for a knock, instantly glue walls up. But Blade is quick as well, just like what we saw from Hunter. But they surround him, they move through the window and do not give him a chance at all. And Hunter doubles down, gets both those eliminations. And Kutush, who is so far away from his teammates, thankfully, with the 1600 coins that he had, will be able to revive the whole squad, take the launch pad, and then just move.
Man, what a revive by KAZU. Phenomenal play. Was on the stealth bites, and that is the huge advantage that the Moss gives you in a game like this. KD God going in for the chase. KAZU pissed off, wants to take the fight to him. Riptide Rhythm breaks down KAZU's defenses, and he punishes as he goes in for the hunt. Woven now taking the fight up against KAZU, but it's the CQC. He dances around the time turner, but just could not get that revenge in time. Too low on HP. The rest of his team members still scrambling around for recovery.
Titan Esports Club. That was brilliant coming in from KAZU in terms of how he was running around. But hey, Rahat has another trouble here. Quickly puts the chrono, runs away, knowing that he doesn't have the best weaponry to fight with. The M1917 will not do the damage that they need. However, Team Apex Gaming, they might be the surprise package here as the third party. AURORA has surrounded them, will take the eliminations, but now Team Apex Gaming, they also end up losing one of their players. KD got quick on the revive, but Zuez will not let that happen. He's closing the distance. Dash coming in. Wolven will get no chances of revival. So does KD God, and the later all swept off. Bhima Sakti strip becomes the end for Team Apex Gaming.
Yeah, this is that awakening of AURORA. Team Apex Gaming just could not handle the heat in that engagement. And I have to say, brilliant decision making from Zuez, just looking for that crosshair placement on that right-hand side flank, understanding that he was going to get his line of sight blocked off by the glue wall, uses his Valiant Dash the moment he got close enough, and the timing and distance was perfect to put Team Apex Gaming at a phenomenal disadvantage there, and he got the double knock. But well, another Indian squad gets snuffed out in the same way as well. Troll taken out of the equation. Prince very low on that HP, and Rance takes advantage with the M590 up close and personal. We jump on to a different fight. Actually, no fight.
SATL Esports, yeah, no fight. They still, thankfully, have two more players in a complete different position. So they have another second chance, but do they have coins? Jack has nothing. I hope Bunny right behind him has some. They're moving to the vending machine. Extreme X on the other end in a complete different fight. They're holding off Falcons. This is happening at Shipyard. Falcons, they have looked ever so strong. They've surrounded Extreme X. They've already lost Rusty. And now Sejan is down. Close by is to seen. He has the P90. He's also right next to the compound. But the dash coming in. They close the distance. And Pina with Ratcha's help. They put both of them down in simultaneous decisions. And that is two more eliminations for Falcons here in Bermuda.
Well, that's very brave, man. Going for the pickup without a glue wall at all. No extra defense on their side. And a phenomenal disadvantage in that engagement for Extreme X. And I think that was just a panic play coming through from them. AGAL, though, going up against SATUL. Dew with a fantastic shot off of that AWM. Takes Bunny out of the equation. Jack's going to get caught out as well. Cypher catches up. M590 puts him down. But that fight is going to drag AURORA straight in towards them as well. And maybe SATUL gets to play recovery off of this as AGL keeps themselves busy with the AURORA players. A124 gets popped. Ezreal pulls out the time turner. He's not going to be snuffed out just yet and quickly backs away from the warehouse.
AURORA.
Barros?
They're surrounding. Oh! Dew with the opening. Cypher now closing the distance. He doesn't have the dash active, but he goes through those glue walls. Zuez is super low. He gets taken down. Dew finds a second. Jun is down. And one by one, AURORA getting picked up. The Axel is the last one. He is in deep troubles. Dew has found him as well and snuffed him out. And with that, it is going to be an end for AURORA once again. They were almost about to get off here. 8 eliminations, and before they could jump towards the top 4, they will lose their footing.
And they'll make it to the finals. They just need to do this again a couple of times. Yeah. They did very well on their first day's run. Just bumping into the wrong squad there. Wrong timing overall. And AURORA just did not have the right positioning like Dew. Was just so punishing in those situations. Even as Barros took the close fight, it was just Dew snuffing them out from afar. SHUL going to lose one player and maybe another one to follow as well. Bunny in the vehicle. The boost gets him away. Barros with the AWM could have a big advantage. But Bunny scurries away quickly, leaving the airdrop all to AGAL and potentially a different squad who might just show up. EP, Prince, 2v1 doesn't have that advantage, but from afar, Troll helping out Prince.
Prince. Unfortunately, SATL Esports so far, in all their plays that we've seen, they've been caught out as individuals, not as a full squad. And the only time that we ended up seeing a full squad fight that they did deal with was the last one with RRQ, but there also Troll was left behind. So SATL Esports always have that safety net of one of the players trying to go in for a revive. Let's see if they have another challenge. As they moved back to factory, even All Gamers Global did move back, and there it is, Cypher. He finds the knock and elimination on Jack. It seems trouble will continue, but trouble even for Titan Esports Club Kiroro. Somebody has to stop him with those nades. Entire team is being dismantled, taken bits and pieces, shrapnel damage, and it is once again Kutush's responsibility. But he has a lot going on in terms of money that he will be able to bring back the whole squad. That's so much and beyond that he could get the super revives and more.
It's always nice to have a rich friend, you know?
Yeah.
go out for lunch, dinner. And he says, you don't worry about it, man. I got you. And that's exactly what he was for the squad. Bye. Yeah. The triple revival, 4,006 in his pocket, no problems at all. AGAL looking to break the record for eliminations and overall points this time round. Demon's Pride will meet the real demons out here on the battlefield as AGAL wakes up to find those big numbers for themselves. But can they also get through TEC, who are right in front of them? A little bit of a recovery needs to be played here. The circle not on the side of TEC or AGAL. They need to scurry on through. SATUL in the compound as well here at Factory. Not looking good for SATUL.
Cypher! And that's trouble. Bunny's already spotted inside the time turner. And Cypher, he's closed the distance, but slicing through with a scythe. Bunny only gets a knock. He'll not find much. That is not the fight that you want. But look at Rahat. He's so close by. AGL, do they spot him? And yes, the glue wall comes up as well from Rahat. There's a safety feature, but it'll not help him out. Nameless will quickly pick him up, and that's another added on elimination. It seems like AGAL are going to break all records. But Dew, he gets found, and now as soon as somebody trying to take vengeance on Dew, AG Global decide to turn their direction.
Let's see if or not Total Winners can work their way out of this one. DRS just not with a great big advantage here. Oh, great time turner from Sammy, but he doesn't have the HP. Riptide Rhythm from afar breaks down extra defenses in there, helping out the DRS players run through everybody on the side of Total Winners. And in that fight, Total Winners just could not find the total domination. TC now in the crosshairs of DRS, but they have to focus on the pickup first. Blade under pressure. Alu with the cord. It's not finding the tags as he was looking for one final bullet, and Stroex finds the follow-up in the M82B. DRS again waking up, and this is what we want to see from a team that has got little to no chance of qualifying, but not giving up on their run.
Yeah. Keep it going. Keep those hits coming in, and same goes for AG Global. They've found Bangla Unity now. They've closed the distance. Ryan is already down. Beerus in big trouble. And AG Global want to close the distance. Confirmation on Ryan. Sian's been taken down by Dew. And that's more trouble. Last the survivors, Beerus and Hunter. They have no machines close by. If they are unable to fend this fight off, it's the rest that they will be put down on. Hunter is the last one standing. And Beerus, his confirmation goes through Hunter. The glue wall's coming to a rest. It is going to be the last opportunity. The electrotherapy helping out. And finally, Cypher puts him down, but there was another team who did steal it away, and as soon as they understand that, they know where the shot came in from, and RRQ KAZU have been spotted against these monsters who have now gotten 30 eliminations, but can keep all their 3 players standing.
Officially a brand new record here, but up against RRQ, they will all get snuffed out one after the other. Dew, the final survivor, trying to get to the vending machine outside the circle is just pure insanity, but he's put himself in a great distance away from the RRQ players. They need at the very least 9 points to set a brand new record here in terms of points for the squad. And it's all going to be dependent on Dew surviving this and potentially bringing in some sort of a miraculous revival for the full team of AGAL.
RRQ, the ones who did dismantle this play for AGAL, who could have set a new record, have spotted the Falcons. They're outside the circle, right at the edge. Their main reason they're not yet moving in is because they know AGAL still have one player right at the hilltop. DRS, they've also spotted Dew, and that's the reason they've also been shooting in that direction, but none of them moving, because on one end DRS have the circle's edge. AG Global, they cannot move at all even if they wanted, but Titan Esports Club's Kutush, he is just hiding behind a drop. I'm surprised neither DRS nor Falcons have any idea that there could be one player here.
Kutush needs to unleash the skadoosh on the whole lobby. AGL finally taken out of the equation. No new record broken. or set. And it looks like it's just the 30 eliminations for them that they get to smile year to year. Most number of eliminations picked up by any squad so far in FFMAI 2026 summer. The numbers are dropping and it looks like RRQ will not walk away with the booyah this time round. Falcons looking for a back-to-back booyah. They have the numbers and only one team can prevent them. The team who's right down at the bottom on the 18th spot, who's got a renewed life, a renewed energy in them as they make the approach towards Falcons.
They got the advantage just because of the Falcons itself. They were the ones who broke the back of RRQ KAZU, and the last player just now got picked off. Down to the last three teams, and as you said, if somebody can take this away, the team who has got nothing to lose, the real soldiers, have the opportunity. Kutush finally being spotted. That's his chance of now either taking a fight to the opponents or trying to cause trouble. Titan Esports Club, he lays the biggest of walls and instantly boosts it up. And it's reinforced right now. Falcons in the meantime, they have no intention or attention for Kutush. Falcons closing the distance, moving up the tower. DRS on the other end. They're holding them off for the time being.
Oh, this is just an opportunity for Kutush to get himself involved here. If he does, the possibility of DRS walking away with the booyah just increases multifold. He has got the level 2 M24 in his hands. Kutush can really interfere big time here. Has the mods to quickly reposition as well. Pina finding Alu with the AC-80. That first knock and instant elimination coming on through. Three players. Karoro, big nade. Takuri, no pickup just yet. Pratik runs straight into Racha. Time turner invested by Racha as he tries to turn around. And he catches Pratik outside the zone. And the zone's going to do a majority of damage here to the final player alive on the side of DRS. And there's just nothing more the Rail Soldiers can do. And a valiant effort from Kutush to play the game of survival to earn an extra placement point for the squad. But Falcons do the unthinkable. You want to break our record from the previous season? Man, we would love to see you try. 3 booyahs back to back they service up here today.
Unbelievable, on track to again set a record. This is just insanity coming in from the side of Team Falcons. Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
They've gone towards a run which seems that none of the teams would have maybe done it. And if there was a team who would have done it, we thought maybe RRQ is the one because that's what they showed on day one. But after what just went down, even after AG Global having 30 total eliminations, that's the highest as you did already portray and mention. And RRQ KAZU took them down. And who took RRQ KAZU down? It was Falcons. And Falcons then from there went to take DRS down as well. But I think DRS had an opportunity here. They rather gave some space to Falcons. That's a little bit of a mutual respect that you kind of talk about teams, right? They let that space be there for Falcons. And Falcons, they just decided to overstep on it. They're like, this is just too much respect being given. We are going to make sure that we are going to pull off a back-to-back. Otherwise, if DRS were quick to act when the RRQ battle was going on in between them as well as the Falcons, I think DRS would have had an opportunity because Falcons were a man down while the fight was starting towards DRS.
Yeah, Team Falcons, they do not react on the battlefield. They respond accordingly as whatever situations looks for a deep answer out of the squad, and they dig deep to find those perfect answers time and time again, mainly because they are patient enough to watch the moves of their opponents, play their timing right. They knew they had the advantage with the time turner, but man, look at this, the record-breaking run. This is the biggest number of eliminations any team so far in FFMAI 2026 summer has walked away with in one lobby, and they got close enough to breaking the record of S8UL, but unfortunately they faltered early. S8UL walked away with a 39-pointer in their lobby at the South Asia Play. It's All Gamers Global walk away with a 36 here. Nowhere close to that booyah, but still dominating the #1 spot.
They completely outright took Bermuda as their home ground. They destroyed every team in front of them and even went for a lot of chases that teams they could not completely wipe out, which it seemed like was one of the reasons that All Gamers Global were able to do 36 total points, 30 only from elimination. But just because of that total winner, Demon's Pride, all of these teams at the bottom missed everything, but this time it goes to Pina, and with 10 eliminations breaking the barrier in terms of damage at 6,000, having that Oscar. And it shows that he's the grenadier, but we can clearly see the amount of aggression that he has as a rusher with JB, Joseph and Nikita following with the M590. just helps what he wants to do. His shenanigans come out in play.
You have a rushing grenadier out of Pina. His active-passive combination clearly shows that he's a rusher. His weapon of choice shows that he's a rusher. His eliminations show that he's a rusher. But he's got the extra grenades on his side as well to deliver all of the damage and the extra bit of advantage to the squad. Nothing changes from the active list skills here from the side of Limit, X7, Kororo, Racha, and Pina. Still running the Moss A124 Chrono, Oscar. And this is their aggressive setup that has not been tweaked up in the past 3 games. Clearly, it's working like magic.
Yeah, this is clear clockwork. This is just somebody set and the seconds is ticking. Nobody can change this clockwork any time. Now, the spring is wound deep enough that the Falcons are ready, looking forward to the title. Especially now going back again to the 25, while they've been the record setters, they've been the ones that everybody was eyeing. Back then when they were playing, everybody was eyeing that they had the trophies. 24-25 season was just Falcons everywhere globally. They were the ones being crowned, and now in that season, they were supposed to be the winners, team favorites. They missed out, and now it seems like they're back to finally take and be called Asia's best. While Pina had 6,000 damage coming through, we also see Kororo, and Kororo has been consistent. We've been seeing this average of around 3,000, 3,900 from him in the first to the second to now the third, and all 3 games in brilliant fashion. 7 eliminations, 9 knockouts, 7 assists coming through. Limit X7 did not have much. I think the last 2 games also have been very similar for him. Not much in terms of fights or conversions, but he's been there helping the teammates out, and it's working.
Yeah, it's a slow game from Limit this time around. Kororo stepping up. And obviously, they've got a double snipe situation going on here. So Limit is trying to play something very new out here, right? They have already changed the way they move out there on the battlefield, how they position themselves in a fight. But that also puts extra pressure on Pina and Racha. And as you can see, they're pulling away the numbers perfectly. Racha's always going in with those initial tags alongside Pina and his grenades. Limit X7 and Kororo, they find the finishes usually from afar. But this time, Limit just not in the advantageous flanks as opposed to how Kororo was to pull away those numbers. And we saw a, once again, very safe play out of Falcons, just constantly keeping to the very edges of the circle and focusing on their looting game first before going in to look for those big numbers.
Yeah, I think this is now kind of also telling us of how Revenant X-Park were also able to get their games under control yesterday. This is the similar play they were trying to do. And I think this is working out. Teams are understanding of how crucial the team boosters are and how consistent you could be in terms of getting your viability of getting a back-to-back. And if Falcons are doing this, it doesn't mean that it's only Falcons who can do it. It's just that they are deploying a strategy which is working for them and the others are not catching up on it. And DRS clearly here had an opportunity, just like how Total Winner had an opportunity. And in the next game in Kalahari, when Falcons got their booyah once more, there was more chances, but teams at that final fight are getting a little, how I would say, scared, a little held back. They're trying to count their chances and then figure out which Falcons doesn't do at that point. And with that, they already stand on top of the overall standings. However, they still have 3 more games to go, but they've already crossed 200.
Absolutely. Falcons are looking to break Falcons' record from last season. So that's the storyline we have right now. Magna joins Autobots down at the bottom. Currently, they're holding on to the 12th spot, but not for too long. And teams like Bangla Unity, Demons Pride, Total Winner, these teams have an opportunity. One of them are going to make that break into the top 12 for sure. There is just no way in hell all of them fail at the same time. And if you look at where Extreme X Total Winners are in terms of points, they're not too far away from Bangla Unity, Demons Pride. This is a 4-way fight. DRS is the only one a little bit too far away from making that qualifier into the top 12 this time round. We appreciate the fact that they've got the fight in them, but this just unfortunately is not the season for DRS Gaming. But it's a good wake-up call for Nepal because DRS Gaming already have that ticket. They already have the ticket to the Esports World Cup, to Paris. So this is their wake-up call to step up their game before they fly to Paris.
That is true. I think this is for them to rework on their strategies, fine-tune of what they need to do and make sure they start going and shooting for eliminations more. But just one thing before we look forward to, hey, is Magna still having a chance? The only problem that I still see that's happening here while the games are being played, Bangla Unity, Demons Pride, Total Winner, Extreme X, DRS, all fighting amongst themselves. The difference of 36, 32 points. But these guys are just fighting amongst themselves, and if they miss out, that is one of the mind-blowing situations. While we think there is no chance, but if these 5 squads keep fighting amongst themselves, AJ, there might be an unbelievable situation opening up.
Yeah, and if you look at Bangla Unity, Demon's Pride, what do they need to make the cutoff point? They need an average of maybe 10 or 12 points per game.
Yes.
That's very low, very doable for Bangla Unity, very doable for Demon's Pride. Total Winners Extreme X, they just need to get a little extreme with their approach. Maybe go for a booyah, get themselves into that final circle as much as possible. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's it for the Angel, Lucifer, and the one and only Mustachio. We're signing off. When we come back, it's going to be 2 other casters taking our place. Mustachio and Crips will be on the mic. Y'all take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is the Free Fire Max Asia Invitational 2026 Summer main event, and this is final day. So far, we've seen 3 matches already, and we've seen some teams fly high like Falcons right here, and we're looking for more. On the desk, I'm Neptune Garcia with the one and only Arca, and we'll be your caster for the rest of this day.
Oh, I am too excited to see which are the teams which will be stepping forward into the top 12, and not only that, they'll be making it into the grand finals as well. Slowly and steadily, I'm kind of getting concerned for AURORA, because the way they've been performing so far, especially today, has not been, I wouldn't say up to the mark, but I would rather say they've not been themselves lately.
I do agree. And, well, speaking of Mark, though, I think with some of the movements of the teams, it gives more chances, not only for AURORA, but also other teams like BANGLA Esports to maintain their spot. Because, as mentioned earlier by both AJ and Lucifer, there's a lot of teams that is battling against themselves at the bottom leaderboard, and as well as those in the middle who's moving quite higher than the rest on the top already is shifting our cutoff a little bit lower. So we started the day with 139 in the cutoff, and I think it has decreased already because of those movements.
I still feel like we might touch 139 or 140 looking at the amount of points the 12th position team is right now having, but sadly we might see a lot of teams getting eliminated from Group C. Nonetheless, the Indian fans are going to be a bit happy because now their teams are performing really well. 3 amongst them might look like, they might make it into the grand finals itself, but who's going to stop RRQ? Who's going to stop the Falcons, and who's going to stop All Gamers Global? Because these are the teams who are just dominating. They're considering these lobbies to be scrims, to let the truth be told.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, for the moment, the top 3, as you mentioned, is Falcons, AG Global, and RRQ. And SHUL, though, is moving a little bit higher into the game, and hopefully they'll be able to catch up on RRQ, because RRQ is really moving, is really not changing that much in terms of their performance. But in terms of drop spot, we've seen this so many instances already. A flurry of teams will be heading into Brasilia, but we know for a fact that they're getting smarter. They will be moving out on the edge of the circle. We talk about Moat House and how viable it is, but we've seen as well from yesterday that even TEC didn't have that Moat House all to themselves. A lot of teams tried to go against directly into the island or just on the edge of that lake. They were almost being taken down.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, where does the circle end up and where the teams are going to get pushed? This is a bigger question. The one thing which we always forget to say is that preferred drop spots not only show us where the teams are intending to go to, but also are the strongest around that vicinity and trying to survive so that the final circle falls in this position and they can convert those games into a booyah might be another tale altogether. But the big cluster at Brasilia, I am loving it, and I hope the teams don't deceive us this time, but rather they come in there to fight it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really loving as well the situation we're in. We're starting, well, you and I are starting Purgatory right now, because again, for everyone who don't know, this is my favorite map. Not only because of how big it is, as well as how some of the teams are treating it as if there's always an early engagement, but also an opportunity where the flight path will be skewed. And whatever we're seeing right now on this preferred drop spot might be the actual drop spot if that is the intention, if that is the mindset of the team. So I do agree. I'm really looking for chaos right now. That's chaos with a K. And the teams could really get in all those elimination in chasing that top 12 spot.
I think as far as the storyline is concerned, I think it's the chaos with an F, because Falcons are nowhere to be stopped anytime soon. Look at them. They've already crossed the 200 pointers, and the previous record is held by them itself. They had 279 points in the previous FFMAI, and they're looking forward to, wipe that number and add a new one. But let's not forget that All Gamers Global are the teams who are trying to snatch that limelight towards them, because they know that they can do much better than what they're doing right now.
Well, right now, let's see who our casters are predicting right now. So we already have locked in who will be the top 3 in this map right now. Game number 4. Team Falcons will be on both our predictions right now, but I do have total winners as well as Aurora Gaming. It's just because of how well they played it out. Last time we saw them in Purgatory, total winners is one of those who got the booyah and topped the board, but for Aurora Gaming, they managed to get it in elimination. So the average points that they have is higher compared to the others in this specific map.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I would like to lean towards the favorites of the lobby, AGAL as well as Falcon, but somewhere I feel that now Apex is going to wake up. The 3 games where they tried to test the waters, I think now it's going to come to an end, and they'll look forward to dominate the rest of the lobby because they're inching closer towards that 12th spot, and that is not one of those teams you would want to see, at the very bottom. So probably this is where they wake up, put enough points on the table, grab the golden ticket because they're one of the fan favorites to make it to the grand finals.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, being put in there at the bottom of leaderboard, being closer to 12 is a trigger warning to all the teams. And for those who don't wake up, definitely they will be taken down. They will be brought down, in the teams who want to do more, I think we have to yet and see.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, again, I've been seeing which are the other teams who have got an opportunity who are at the very bottom of the table. We have still got 2-3 names out there. Bangla, Unity, Demon, Sprite, who are still thriving and fighting. I know that the cross line is somewhere far away, but still they can still fight for it. All they have to do is make it into the top 12. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time for you guys to predict who might walk away with the booyah in the upcoming map, because we're heading right into the map itself, the biggest map out there, and I believe that this time we might see the biggest number being taken.
Oh yeah, we like to see that in the first half of this game. Biggest number in terms of elimination, a lot of engagement, a lot of fight, because neither heaven or hell will be saving those who will be left out in this game. And speaking of skewed flight path, it is a little bit skewed up to the north, and those aiming to go in the southern island of Purgatory might be in trouble. But as we see and look at how the teams are already dropping, Aurora Gaming has already dropped off early, not so much of contention other than Extreme X, who's also heading into golf course. But you can see the split coming from RRQ KAZU, and most of the target for RRQ would be central, but it's a good thing that switched it over to Brasilia because there's a lot of target in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. Teams have chosen to, abide by the rule of their drop locations, but let's not forget RRQ might get into trouble because the solo player responsible for survival is also being caught off guard by that of EXE. For now, I say to Jack is holding on to his nerves. He's not a person who misses much, but he needs to watch out for the legend on the other side. It's Kutush, who's been doing phenomenal so far in this tournament, who does the job with the sniper, who does the job with the grenade, and it seems like Kutush has read the mind of Jack.
Or they're just reading minds, reading movements, but not really showing that much. It's a waiting game right now. It's not even a Mexican standoff at this point. It's just a standoff. And no one is moving an inch. They got information already on where the positions of the opponents are, but I don't think Jack will be giving that much. It's only Bunny who's hopping like a bunny right now. Hop, little bunny, hop, hop, hop. Not so much of a contention on the other side. I think Najad has sights on him, but no movement has been done. But on the other side, we have Demon's Pride, who received already one knockdown, as well as elimination. But Baal, up close and personal, and this is a rare occasion that we see the sniper of RRQ uses that M590, and he's smashing it.
Speak about switch of roles. I believe that all those teams who are able to adapt in different scenarios have a greater hand. And for now on our screens, it's got to be TW trying to push it against DRS, who are in immense pressure. And due to which they crumble down yet again. Another player gets taken on by Hunter, who's right now hunting everybody in and around this vicinity. He's got one in his name, but his teammates are also being clever. TC on the other side. Kutush is still holding that position. Bunny was hopping right, left, and center. He's got to be caught off guard, but Troll comes in from a different angle. No. He's got an opportunity, and is firing hard.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's no chance for TEC from that moment. As you look, if you have seen on the minimap, like all sides covered by S8UL. It's not giving an opening for any escape. But let's see though, we still have a couple of players from TEC to go for a revive, and the same goes for Demon's Pride. And Madara goes in and brings back Jazzy as top 7-7 is moving outside circle into the edge in probably good position. And Fire Brigade right now still in edge of circle, but engaged in a great spot to gather a few more coins.
Absolutely, the calm before the storm. And probably this is one of those maps where we're not seeing too much of a damage being dealt. Nonetheless, Aurora versus S8UL, the big bulls are locking horns. Troll on the other side has been one of those players who keeps getting peppered. BU say goodbye from the lobby, and S8UL, since they had a healthy start, are now looking to have patience beside them as they crack through Aurora's armor.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for Bangla Unity, them being eliminated a little bit early might be bad for the team, as well as good for those who are waiting to be eliminated, like Magna Esports and Autobots Esports. But as battle continues, Aurora Gaming against S8UL. There's not so much of contention right here. Even the Troll has an angle. There's no takedown. And Suez managed to bring him down with a Woodpecker. And that stops Bonnie from rushing against the June. Now RGS in hand of June fires back. But good thing that they have the time turner. Also a couple of blue walls. But the Axel tries to go for a flank. And he gets shot by Bunny. And he gets advantage of that. They even have the lightning zone that might throw off that strategy of Aurora Gaming.
Bunny, he'll have to pull off a phenomenal out here. Puts one player down, finds another one. Too close and personal. Both of them are close to one another. Puts another one down. And this time Prince comes in from the back lines just to give the right kind of support. The defenses are strong for that of S8UL. And they look forward to continue this domination. 168 points with 9 eliminations already in this game. The start was right, and it seems like the ending can be better.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it could have been better, but there's no other better storyline for S8UL right now. They're upward momentum at this point. Despite the lead by AG Global earlier because of massive elimination that they got, they're still on a good climb. Extreme X being tagged up with a Dinocular, and they know exactly, Team Falcons know exactly how many players to deal with, and they would be going for the flank shots on the other side. It might have been a little bit early for Flicker because that exposes his position, and he could have waited as Team Falcons get a little bit closer, but I think that's the only angle that he can work with.
Falcon, Racha gets in closer, sees Sejan and Tushan, the strongest link of these teams, and immediately falls back. A clever move, but guess what's happening? They're using a vehicle to fall back. Rather, it's got to be Tushan and Sejan, both of them getting closer, but Penna puts one down, the other one also goes down. The teamwork is dreamwork for this team. Falcons have got 6 already, and what do? They eventually fall back to find the last player. Least do they realize that the player is just around their nose.
Yeah, Team Falcons just threw everything, including the kitchen sink. They have the Lightning Zone, they have the M79, they have the M590 in play in that battle. And Troll, huge shot with a VSK. Take down one more player in this fight. And S8UL right now going for the shot against Kutush. Will Kutush be able to fight back? The answer is no. And Bunny is on fire. 4 elimination already. Same goes with Troll and S8UL right now, trying their best to increase the numbers and chase for the Titans. But DEC will be eliminated. We only are left with 10.
S8UL are unfolding to be the demons of the lobby for now. And it's a good approach coming in from their side. They're well known for their aggression. And once you know that can work in a lot of ways, this is what you do to a lobby. Immediately become the demons of the lobby. Nonetheless, Falcons on the other side, they have a different approach to the game all of a sudden. And RRQ are not far away. Penna, but now I've got the eyes against them. Look at that. If there's a player who gets taken down, and Penna says, now it's time for me to land another one.
Oh my goodness, RRQ not looking good for them. Only 2 players remaining. It's a good thing they managed to pull away from this engagement in Mount Villa. And Team Falcons is still on the roll, looking for their first booyah in the day, and probably can continue on towards the end. But what consolation do they get? They will be just showing their dominance, breaking their own record, as has been set from the first season of Free Fire Max Asia Invitational. But if that is the goal that they have right now, no one's stopping them for the moment.
You know, I feel like they shouldn't even bother about the numbers. If they just be themselves, they can surely write history, rewrite history, create new ones. But the lobby is also strong. We need to keep that in mind because RRQ also have been phenomenal so far. But sadly, in this game, they have been handicapped to a last player who's looking forward to move around to the nearest vending machine. But SA2L, 12 eliminations. And Jack realized that he has no coins to revive his teammate.
A great realization. So hopefully they can gather a few more coins. It's still early. Second and third phase of the circle, and there's still a lot of breathing room for the team. And we were expecting a lot of teams being eliminated at this point, but at 9-minute mark, only 3 teams out of the game. Most of them are just waiting for the opportunity to get an angle. But for SAUL, they have every angle that they have. They're even covering a lot of grounds as they split up. And hopefully this is not a downfall for the team, because those evil eyes will be watching, especially those on the high ground. And Team Falcons is one of those. But one of the target would be Demon's Pride right now. What I would say is, in terms of numbers, not looking good. They still have a few more points to be able to breach top 12.
Penna gets in closer. It's always not good to take an uphill battle, but DP Dominators, they're still pushing their luck. Let's see how much they can retaliate. Sheriff gets taken down. Madhura gets in closer, but has he got the Sharingan? Because Falcons on the other side, they're pushing in hard. It's going to be Penna who comes in closer. Ratcha as well as put a player down. Limit says I'm unlimited. As the last man standing top, all he has to do is go incognito and run away from this position. Falcons have spread their wings yet again. And the lesson learned the hard way, DP Dominators. They need to be careful the next time they come in closer to any team.
Now let's see now. It's not only DP Dominators or Demon's Pride who is in trouble, but a Stop 7-7 trying to get away. Bill be shot down by a platoon of total winners. We've seen as well earlier that the real soldiers is trying to pick a fight against Team Falcon. But the moment they realize that there's a team hanging back in Ski Lodge, they just back away. Now, as we look at SAUL, they have a good run. They have a lot of elimination, but it's only Bunny left. And trying to run and gun, pedal to the metal right now to go for those coins as well as a revive, and also heading in next phase of the circle. But I think it is a little bit too late right now because there's very little real estate for the teams to move, and this might be trouble for SAUL.
Falcons have spotted the best. You know, I've got the best spot in the house. Look at them just sticking to that mountain. They realize that every other team will try to come to this vicinity, and they're going to take great advantage of it. DRS for now have got 2 in their name. It's got to be total winners on the other side. They got the quick revival, and all of a sudden Panna says, you know what, I can smell blood, and immediately comes down to see where he sees another set of players are. Panna, it's got an opportunity. Hunter and Sami says, I see another player. Hunter immediately falls back to take another angle altogether, but Penna on the other side, he tries to take shots, but eventually gets hunted. This time around, we see that the rest of the team is a bit far away, and due to which Falcons will now have to get to the nearest vending machine to get a player back.
Yeah, Fina bit a little bit more than he can chew right now, trying to dip into this fight of Total Winners and the real soldiers. But Total Winners did lose Sami in this battle, and they would be in the back foot right now if the RS managed to go for the push. But it's a good thing that they are all waiting for next phase of the circle. But what a great angle to take. M79, if this gets popped off, if this is released, and this might be the end for DRS, and let's see if they can make it. There goes the shot, but no one goes down. They manage to defend themselves with a glue wall. Then fight is not even over. They might be able to defend more and survive this fight, but not for Demon's Pride.
Oh, Demon Pride, SA2L, every other team is falling down, but Total Winners are still pushing it as hard as possible. DRS, what a fortress they have made for themselves. They've been holding on to the position. Aurora get eliminated, and all of a sudden Total Winners realize that now it's time for us to step out of this spot, because we need to keep eye on who's approaching this vicinity. DRS on the other side are still hugging this circle to the epicenter, making sure they do not come out anytime soon. Let's not forget that the Falcons are still breathing, and they're doing the right thing if you ask me, because they're concentrating completely on RRQ.
Well, let's see, the RRQ that managed to go for a revive and pulls away far from this next circle. Total awareness, though, after the aggression against the real soldiers, is now trapped, nowhere to go, and AG Global might be able to take them down. But Takuri does have a grenade launcher on him, but no angle take against AG Global, and they are trying to defend themselves with the glue walls, but that might be their downfall as well, as the zone closes in, or AG Global closes in against them.
AG Globals fall back. They realize this is not the spot for them to hold, because they know there's more than one team inside. What they do now is try to take down the team which is holding the peripheries of this fight. That's total winners. Dew has got that AWMY and he's done enough damage so far. He opens the doors and his teammates are trying to rush in. Whereas on the other side, it's TW holding that position, but Mal says no. The rest of his team also barges in. RRQ, they just stomple over TM. And at TW, and I don't think so they're going to survive for the longest time possible, because Hunter, the last man standing, will have to hug this wall and make sure he doesn't show himself.
Yeah, I mean, they just introduced themselves. RRQ, open up! And they just broken down the door. But also another team will be eliminated. But one thing is for sure, Team Falcons is slowly faltering. And they will be eliminated. No Fort Booyah for the Team Falcons. And it will go down to the final four teams that we have right here. RQ, AG Global, the real soldiers, as well as Team Apex Gaming, who has the higher ground against the rest.
Apex Gaming, I saw this coming. This is one of those teams who always push themselves into a pressured situation and try to see what best they can do. Saljat with that grenade launcher couldn't do much. He's getting closer as Shoto sees the teammates. But they need to be careful, because RRQ can also step into this fight. Look at the amount of grenades being tossed in against AGAL. Put Dew down, and the strongest link is gone. Burrows also gets taken down, and Tag now they chase AGAL. They make sure they strike fear in their heart. And what's important for them to do right now is hold the top spot and hold the center of the circle itself.
Not so much can be done for a couple of players from AG Global, but Apex Gaming, not so much of elimination from them, but good position to take point against RRQ. Glue wall's being taken down, but they managed to jump in. Here comes the flank. Will Shoto be able to make that shot? M590 up close and personal, but it's Sahil Jad with combination of F79 and RGS. They are just wrecking RRQ right now, and in introducing themselves, only one remain, and Apex Gaming will be the Apex Predator in this lobby.
DRS, they've got the last door to knock out. It's AGAL. One player gets taken down, Nameless, still fighting it out, but eventually we'll have to find the demise. On the other side, we still that RRQ are interested, but TAG says, you know what, it's time for us to end the deed. They're getting closer. DRS stuck behind that door. Now he's got to be pushed in by the side of Tag. KD God, the IGL says, I'm going to give you that opening. Hold that spot, and they might be able to walk away with the booyah.
Oh, let's see. Any team or any of the two teams like DRS and Team Apex Gaming might be able to walk away with the booyah. And not so much of contention for the players of RRQ unless they beat each other down. And here comes the knock. DRS right now, again, they're barricading themselves. A similar approach from what happened earlier. And Wolfen managed to take a shot just in the slit on that glue wall and goes for that annihilation. So it's a 4v3 situation. And it's not looking good for the real soldiers, and this is slowly turning into a real problem as Shoto takes a shot with a woodpecker and only two remains, but they manage to pull away.
Oh, this is where things can be interesting. Tag will be coming in with a little bit of a cover, but they're going to be very low on HP. Look at what Sailjar does. He gaps all the attention where the rest of the teammates can make it inside. Alu versus Dia. These two will decide who will stand in front of Tag. And let me remind you this, ladies and gentlemen, there's no way stopping this team once they decide to walk away with the booyah. It's TAG who have got this team, Apex Gaming.
Yeah, one booyah for Team Apex Gaming, and that would move them up on the leaderboards a little bit further from the 12th spot. So this is their second booyah of phase number 2 or of the main event. I'm really loving the situation right now by this team. But again, there's just so many challenges around this area where we see the last battle, the final battle for the teams, and I was expecting a few more from most of them, but it's because of the close compound as well, zone closing in. They were just stuck, no way out, and Team Apex Gaming was just capitalizing on that.
Wolverine's contribution to this fight was phenomenal. He gave that opening and immediately they realized that DRS need to get back from this location. Saljad, the way he was able to grab the attention of Takuri and making sure that the whole team survived was also phenomenal. DRS, they had everything under their control, but the divided attention is something which they're going to learn the hard way. Nonetheless, Team Apex Gaming finally smiles on their face, smiles on the fans' face as well, because now they inch in closer towards the top 8.
And with that, I believe they move up the ranks. They move up several spots already. And this is good for Team Apex Gaming. They were in risk of being relegated when they started the day, but now they've managed to get a few more points. Plus this booyah, it's an equalize on the placement as well as on elimination. But looking at the rest of the teams, no one, not a lot of teams managed to get more than them. It's only RRQ KAZU who got more elimination, which is 14. But since they didn't survive longer, they were put down on second place. But who's consistent enough? It's AG Global. Again, they're not chasing for the booyah just yet, but the consistency on elimination is still at par, and the same goes for Team Falcons.
Team Falcons have been stopped for the first time, and guess who did it? It's Team Apex Gaming. At one point of time where we thought that the Falcons have got the control of the whole area, especially the mountain, and suddenly we see a different tale altogether. But for now, the things are pretty obvious. I think it's MEC who are very, very close to that 13th spot, because Demon Sprite, they need around 28 points just to make sure they enter into the top 12. So that's the only team I see out there who have got that opportunity. BANGLA, total winners, as well as DRS will have to do a lot more than normal just to make sure they make it into the top 12.
Yeah, I mean, one good thing for the teams of Demon's Pride is even if they only make a few points for each round, they might be able to breach that top 12. But if
15
they get
points in each game
early, 15 points, bro. If 15 points within each game, it might be a long shot because they haven't put in that much in this fight. But let's talk about them later on. Let's congratulate our booyah takers as well as our MVP Shoto with 4 elimination, almost 3,000 in damage and 7 assists. Normal enough. I'm really loving a situation that they're using that Valiant Dash or that Dreki to spot unhealing opponents and then use that Valiant Dash to break down the glue walls, and that's when they start beating them down. This combination has been seen with a lot of South Asia players, and this might be a meta that can be carried over all over a region.
Yeah, absolutely. Now again, pounce on the weakling. It's as simple as that. Nonetheless, we see that Wolverine on the other side with Saljad. Both of them have done a decent job so far. Saljad, obviously, that's one of the reasons why he had that grenade launcher. Anybody tries to approach with an active skill, he can negate it with the A124. Wolverine on the other side, the enhanced hammer gives him extra confidence to push in when required. Kedigor on the other side, it's the normal sniper who gives that opening.
Well, see, so far it's quite different from what we often see, but it does work for them. It's not like just a couple of glue wall breakers, but you can see in the frontliners as well, the intention would be to be strong enough on that final circle. And look at that. Sahil Jad as well as Shoto leading a fray right now. Wolvin adding more points, but it's just unfortunate that we didn't see that much on KD God. It's probably because of the angle that they're taking. Again, the final circle, the final situation situation for teams is an enclosed space. They don't have that much an opening for snipers to work with. Thus, he didn't get that much elimination, more of the assists as well as on the damage. So I'm good with this, and I'm really looking forward to more coming from Team Apex Gaming. And we're seeing a few of similar approaches from those who's leading a fray right now. From earlier, there's only Southeast Asia, but now things like South Asia will be able to dominate this game. Let's take a look at the circle analysis like now, as some of the teams has spread out quite fairly in this fight, and it's just unfortunate that not everyone was able to make it into the Western Island as expected. In the moment that they got stuck in that Mount Villa area, or between Quarry and Mount Villa, they were able to just get a lot of elimination, get a few covers as well, but those on the outside didn't even get that opportunity. Even Team Falcons, to try their best to distance themselves, was hunted by Team Apex Gaming. So really looking forward to what more can happen in this fight. But I would say, Arga, this is a one-off situation. It's not so many instances that we have this kind of circle, which is far away from the center, and again, it's just a purgatory, the trouble of purgatory that is being brought in for the teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Now again, it was a very different approach coming in from the side of TIG. The first three circles, there was no fight. They did not get involved into any fight because they realized that the 4v4s are not going their way. So once they realized that they've got a high ground, they're well stacked, this is where we start to strike, and they converted that big fight with Falcons. The confidence came in through their veins, and then all they did was eye towards that booyah. And hopefully we'll be able to see some more teams pull off that booyah so that the record still stays intact, because Falcons are slowly falling short of that big 275 number.
Yeah, I mean, 275, that's a lot already, but they still have 2 matches to go. And looking at the average of what they brought in early parts of this day, they managed to get, 30 plus points, not only 2, 3 matches.
Yeah.
So that's 37, 31, and 33 out of the first 3 games that they have, and they're still bringing in all those. Not so high, though, because some of the teams are just being hungrier. Even those at the bottom of the leaderboard is bringing up the numbers, but I think this might be a saving grace. As I mentioned earlier, if those at the bottom of the leaderboard, like Demon's Pride, BANGLA Unity, even Total Winners, Extreme X, and DRS Gaming will be fighting amongst themselves, starting the fight, starting the elimination against themselves. That gives more opportunity to, I would say, Magna Esports Club, probably Autobots Esports, if in case it drags down further on to 2 games. But Magna Esports is the one with the better situation of getting in the top 12 if that continues to happen.
Now, I somewhere feel that Demon's Pride have still got it in them. The way they were able to hold off to the building for a long time, all they have to do is just try to concentrate on the latter stages of the lobby. Get an early 3 to 4 eliminations, and then after that hold on to your horses until you find the right time to strike to get another 10 to 12 points. So that's more than enough for you to replicate in the upcoming games. You just got 2 in your hands, my friend, so you need to make sure that you make the best out of it. Nonetheless, the rest of the teams have already got that golden ticket, and all of them will now try to experiment and see what they can do better so that the team comes well prepared for the grand finals tomorrow.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, hopefully this is a time where Demon's Pride will be able to move up, because again, the goal for them for the remaining 2 games is 28. And so far for 4 games, they managed to pull off 22. So far cry from the average. But let's see though, on the predictions, maybe this is something that would throw us away from the problem, but into the solution for most of the teams. Let's see who we have for the top 3 right now. And I'm pretty sure we'll have most of the familiar names, especially in this next map, because we have set the numbers already with this cycle of groupings. Before predictions, we're going to the drop spots right now, and I'm loving the spread. Other than Intellect Center, I think there will be more survivability in this next area map.
Now, this is where I would like to, make things much more harder. I want the circle to go completely towards the turbine, where no team is present, so that they'll have to fight their way to that spot. They've been, there've been situations where we have seen teams not actually abiding by the drop spots. Nonetheless, we have seen that a few of them do tend to, sometimes stick to it. In the previous game, we saw most of them go to the very center of the map. We got into the kerfuffle, got into a bit of a fight. But for now, mud site is where I feel that the skirmish cannot take place.
Well, let's see now. I mean, there's a lot of analysis that can be done on where things or battle will happen or not happen, but the teams probably has done those study as well, those homework as well, on where they can put themselves first, especially for those who are always in trouble in Nextera, put themselves in that position, loot up, get all those coins, and then head into each phase's circle. Similar to what we've seen in Team Falcons. Again, just pulling away from everyone else, getting either the northern part or the southern part of each map, and make sure that they survive midway into the game. But now, this is where we see our predictions right now. Again, there's a lot of hopes for the top 3 teams, and we both have RQ. I have, on the other hand, AG Global and TEC, and you have AURORA and SHUL.
I mean, I saw TAG performing well. I know that AURORA has also got the similar kind of an approach to the upcoming games. So probably they might try to, also push their luck and see how much they can survive in the initial stage and later get into fights to get a booyah for themselves. SHUL, obviously, because they've been the aggressors of the lobby. They're going to continue to be the aggressors of the lobby because it's been a habit to this lineup from their previously named, first they started off Fire Eyes, then they came into, I wouldn't want to go into the depths of it, but aggression has been the key for this team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's just a lot of, especially being acquired, there's a lot of changes that happen, a lot of motivation that happen when you take a new name. And this is where they prove themselves to the brand. And this is where we might see things change. Because looking at the numbers, again, looking at the past historicals of the team, averages-wise, there's like average is just even for the rest of the squad. But this is where things change. There's a lot of motivation. There's a lot of pressure as well. And there's also those who we need to focus on at the bottom of the leaderboard. Again, Magna Esports Club and Autobots in risk of relegation. Who's chasing them would be Demon's Pride, Bangla Unity total winners, as well as Extreme X, and let's include DRS Gaming because we have seen them do quite well. But will they be able to do enough in this fight? Again, 2 more matches, and we started off in Nextera. And who's going to bring the terror in this game?
It's time for you guys to predict which among these teams will actually bring in the terror, because the flight path, it seems like it's going to respect every other team out there, from Intellect Center towards Grave Labs, a bit skewed towards the western side, but I don't think so it's going to matter much for the teams out there. Intellect Center was supposed to be crowded a bit, and it seems like we can expect some action out there. DRS, EXE, TAG, total winners, all of these teams looking for an early skirmish.
I mean, it's not looking good for DRS right now. Again, bottom, they are motivated because this is the final day, final 2 matches. But if they really want to get more, then they should distance themselves for the rest of the squad. But Team Apex Gaming right now has distanced themselves against the rest of the squad in Intellect Center, but they still have a clear view of some of those. But we're also looking at elimination. Nejad gets the first elimination against Demon's Pride, but they're just fighting back. So there's no team that will be eliminated just yet. We're seeing the revive already, and this is a good run for Nextera to bring those total elimination for everyone, and that we often see when we jump into this map.
Apex Gaming, I like this approach from their side. Now they're pouncing upon the weaklings. These are the few teams who have not done so well in this lobby. For the very reason, they're like, you know what? The confidence is sorted now. Let's try to take some fights. As they get in closer, they can hear some shots being taken, and they need to be cautious. EXE versus TW on one side, and DRS slowly creeping in. The slithering snakes, this time, could be either of these two.
Well, let's see now. I mean, those waiting is TAG, well, soldiers or DRS, but there goes the takedown. Rustito as well as Sami, and they are just eating up all those knockdowns already, not even firing the bullet. And here comes Shoto bringing down Strowex. The same goes on Pratik, and there's no praying, and that's praying. It's just DAG praying like predators in this lobby.
Apex Gaming finding every single player out there. They'll be losing one of the players, but will be immediately called back in the name of Siljot. And I'm shocked to see that teams were still able to survive this onslaught. DRS, they've fallen back. RRQ is left handicapped yet again. KD gets taken down, and that means now they have an idea where the opponents are. The push is gonna be inevitable, but Kutush seems like now is fallen off the wrong side of the chair.
Let's see now. I mean, you need to keep your balance. You don't want to be falling off on any situation, whether standing up or sitting down in a chair. But Bunny right now, a little bit risky, going in for the push and managed to take down 18 there. We don't see that often. You break the glue wall with a vehicle, even if it's up in smokes, and you go for a snipe on the CQC. It is just phenomenal on how S8UL is doing their play right now, but they need to move fast because here comes AG Global. Might be able to beat him down, and you know how it is with a sniper like Du. He might be able to one-shot you with a Car 98.
Prince is trying to hold on that spot for the longest time possible, but Cypher, he was able to land the shot from a distance. It's a different tale altogether. Troll, a sniper versus sniper situation. But S8UL, they realize that now they need to hold back. Troll on the other side has been doing a lot of damage, and now he's got to be given a bit of opportunity yet again. Whereas Nameless on the other side, look at his approach to this game. AGAL, they lose a player, and suddenly Apex Gaming is out. What's happening?
Oh, well, that is the Booyah curse that's happening from Team Apex Gaming. They have a good angle earlier when they introduced themselves an Intellect Center. But I guess since we didn't see what happened, they were just starting to falter as they move into the next phase of the circle. S8UL right now up close and personal. Extreme X, a little bit too extreme with a close range cord. But the glue wall was just a little bit too late, and Prince will be taken down. Rest of the squad now going for the jump. And ice grenades might beat them down. But here comes AG Global as well. Grenade launcher from that Trogon. But Rusty goes down. It's Barros who beat him out. Now battle on a 1v1 between Barros and Yak. The only question is who's going to win. And there goes the vending machine almost being taken down. But will they be able to get close and take down Barros? It's another exchange between them, and Du capitalizes with that AWM.
Oh, Du very low on HP. It was KD God, or rather Troll on the other side, who again gets caught off guard by Cypher, who comes in to grab this position. AGAL are looking confident. They're looking strong in this lobby. But S8UL, they've also had a great start. And this is what happens to the Indian teams. Once they have confidence, they don't shy away from fights. They've come back here yet again, and they're picking up one after another. Shots being connected, and eventually that's eliminations being added in the name of Bunny.
Oh, let's see. Rips out of nowhere. Gives an opportunity for Bunny to finish them off. But it's Strowex who helped him out. But with 1,100 in the coins, he might be able to bring back Jack. But the question is, will he be able to get in? Because I'm seeing Du, as well as a few players from AG Global, who might beat them down. But speaking of beat down, here comes Racha. Taking down Blade, up close and personal with a Vector. Rahat with a level 3 Mac 10. That is something that you don't want to go against, especially in CQC. But he still continues with a Woodpecker against Racha, but will be forced away because of the Bolt Maker.
The Bolt Maker lately has been one of the most decimating skills to be used in this lobby. Since it has expired, we see that S8UL have now bought back most of their players. On the other side, it's got to be another fight yet again. AGAL, they're starting to pick up a lot of eliminations, which is a very, very sad thing for all the teams out there. They reached 200 points with this, and with one more game to go, can they top the table?
I don't know. Speaking of top of the table, the team who is trying to beat their own record is in trouble. Tables being flipped against them, only one player remaining for Team Falcons, and I don't think they will be able to do it, or will they be able to do it in this round? But as we look into the rest of the squad right now, this is a little bit of standstill for everyone. No engagement, zones closing in 10 seconds, and this is where the trouble begins. If you don't have a real estate to go with onto the next few phases, then that is where you might be going down. But TC, let's see if they'll be able to spot out anyone. I think they're trying to gauge this position, guarding that vending machine within Martyr Ruins, and probably Team Falcons is eyeing this as well because this is their normal drop spot. But if this is where they were eliminated, then I think Team Falcons will need to stay away from this because there's a lot of eyes that might be on them from that battle.
Yeah, absolutely. Whereas on the other side, we also have to speak about the devil of the house. It's gonna be Demon's Pride, who need to put points on the table. They've got 5 so far. They need 10 more in this game. Anything more than that is just numbers which can get them closer to the 12th spot. Aurora, another team I was hoping to see perform well, slowly inching in closer to get better.
Yeah, I mean, they are currently on the 10th spot before the game started. And now, with the 8 elimination they moved up already. But will they be able to continue? Because it has not been a good day for Aurora Gaming. They're slowly losing Aura right now. And as they go for the chase against Prince, hopefully this is not a bait and switch. But June already have a target on him, and there goes the takedown. 1 elimination is good enough for them. You can see how aggressive Aurora is, but they're not careless. They have backup in every turn.
Yeah, a 2-man squad, or a 2v2 split is what we call it. They've been doing really well so far, and now they come on our screens. It's Demon's Pride who need to survive, and that's what they're trying to do. Try to come in late into the circle, make sure they clear their backlines, have enough coins. In case things go down south, they have a vehicle to immediately get away from a position to the nearest vending machine. Whereas Hunter on the other side, he sticks close to the water so that he doesn't get detected.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of vehicle gameplay right now. Hunter is just chilling like a villain. They see me rolling. I'm wetting because I'm driving in the water. Bro, I mean, I'm just seeing a lot of awesome stuff right now. Weird, but awesome. That means that your team can survive, and BU is one of the team who really needs survivability if they want to climb up on the top 12.
Let's see. We spoke about Demon's Pride. It seems like they're in trouble. It's got to be Aurora who's trying to put them down. A lot of shots being taken, but not many got registered. I would rather say 1 or 2, due to which they're going to be rewarded. And now what they try to do is just jump into the faces of the opponents. DP need to prepare quickly, but SHU will come in from the backlines, and that means Aurora are going to get busy yet again.
Oh, let's see now. I mean, they do have a good angle. June right now with a shield gun, not a weapon that you could use late into the game, but if it's working, it's working. Now, Suez M590, the dance is on, trying to break down the glue walls of SHUL, but is this enough? There goes a takedown against Jack, and he didn't even see it coming, but they know that Aurora is knocking, but here comes the zone as well, and this might be it for final player of SHUL. But team that got eliminated a little bit early, who's chasing on their own record, is Team Falcons, and we are down to 9.
Aurora, look at them being aggressive. Look at them try to take down SHUL. Troll doesn't realize will this land. Will be landing a shot between the skull and then slam down. What a shot coming in from Aurora. SHUL get eliminated, and that means only 2 teams survive from the top 8, and the bottom 8 are now trying to survive for the longest time possible. DRS gets eliminated. It's AGAL who put them out.
Now, you are seeing how well those on the bottom of the leaderboard is trying to go for survivability.
Yep.
They might not be able to bring in the numbers, but I do agree with your mindset earlier with Demon's Pride. Like, if they can get 15, any other than that is just consolation. It's just bonus for them because they don't have to put up that much onto the next game. But this is just what happens when they are pushed into a corner, into a wall. They just go for survivability. And, well, we don't call them survivors for nothing. This is the name of the game of Battle Royale, especially Free Fire.
Touche, my friend. Couldn't have said that better. But for now, all of these teams in the bottom, let's see which amongst them are proving themselves worthy to walk away with a booyah. AGAL for now are looking unstoppable. Same goes for Aurora. But look at this circle. I just love it. There's just one more hard compound to be taken. And I'm 100% sure AGAL will just step to that spot after finishing EXE.
Oh, let's see though. They will need to beat down a lot of blue walls, get in a lot of stairs, and this might be the stairway to heaven. But looking at where Aurora Gaming has their angles on, they spotted Demon's Pride, and that forces Demon's Pride to move away, get into the other side, and this might force them to go for engagement against Total Winners. And Total Winners, no elimination against their teammates. They're still a full squad, and they got 6 already on their side. But Extreme X being taken out, a god day coming from Barros out of nowhere, and this is them knocking on their doors. And earlier it was there to heaven. Now it's knocking on heaven's door. It doesn't look like AG Global is going down that easily.
I love this 80s, man. I love the way you bring in all those songs. It's refreshing. And I hope...
It's just me.
Yeah.
It's just the uncle in me, bro.
I would rather not call you uncle for now. I'm going to speak more about it off of the stream. But, yeah... You're just enjoying yourself for now. It's Total Winners who have come to that vicinity, and look at how safe Demon's Pride are playing it here. They'll have to also make sure that they have some frags for themselves. What they're doing right now is trying to restrict anybody else getting into the spot, and Total Winners are kind of being the catalyst in this equation because both these teams now got an angle against the team trying to make it inside in the name of AGAL.
Yeah, I mean, even before AG Global or AGAL has been seen in here, because a knockdown done by Total Winners, I got an idea that it's AGAL. And with 2 teams having focus on them, this might be the end of the run for them. Here comes Demon Pride getting a little bit too closer. The zone's closing in as well, and the shift might force them for that engagement, but they're still not out on the crosshairs of Total Winners. But there goes the shot. Do and Nameless, and they get eliminated just like that in only a few seconds. And AGAL is on a run to break the record with most elimination in a match.
AGAL Dew needs to call him Tsunami. Needs to change that name to Tsunami. The shots, every single thing was perfect. But for now, Aurora, who played it so well so far, are now in a little bit of a trouble. Total Winners have just struck fear in their hearts as they fall back. Will now have to find a way into the circle. As on the other side, we see that TEC, AGL, all of them are trying to make themselves into the circle. But Aurora, this is where they start to lose numbers.
Oh, let's see. Aurora Gaming, only June remaining. Will he be able to go and praying? And with June with shield gun, I don't know why he's not letting go of that shield gun. It's not as if there's anything that can be done, but unfortunately, he dies out on the blue, and it's only left to 2, and it's AG Global against TEC. Now, with Dew on the high ground, a good backstab capability. Does he have the angle? There goes the flank, and Cypher might be able to break this, but no, they're pulling away. No engagement just yet. It's just a waiting game for both of the teams, but Nameless got an angle against Kutush. That's 1 down on TEC, and this might be AG Global who might be able to take in based on their numbers.
AGAL playing it good. They've just cut off the head of the snake. With Kutush out, TEC might be able to somehow bow down to the opponents. Look at that. Nameless puts another man down. Barros says, now it's time for me to step in. The last man standing. Nameless says, I know the location, and they're barging into his head. Make sure they land that shot and get that booyah. AGAL, All Gamers Global with this will be making it to the top of the table. But will they be able to rewrite history? That's another game in the making.
Oh my goodness. That might have been the biggest point that we have. The records being broken once again. And you did mention about climbing the top. And with that, they might have broken through already. And this is just phenomenal out of AG Global. As we look at the final moments of most of the teams right now, AGAL was not phased. Not even trouble with two teams, three total winners, and Demon's Pride trying to beat them down. They were just that strong that they cannot be taken out.
My goodness, what a game this has turned out to be, especially Dew. He just changed the course of the game where Demon's Pride, I just hope that they just took the fight against AGAL rather than falling back. Nonetheless, this was the final moment where we saw that AGAL was just surging their way into confidence. All Gamers Global, can they lift the championship?
All right, I'm really looking forward to that to happen. But one thing is, I would say they're lifting the bar right now because they have the most elimination out of all the games that we have, and a massive 45-pointer for AG Global. All Gamers Global really putting up the numbers. We didn't expect that to happen. They managed to break Team Falcons' elimination record. They managed to break SAUL's total record, and they are taking that number one spot quite easily.
Now, this is where Demon's Pride, who have got 12 points, will have to work a little bit harder. They'll have to at least get 13, or rather, I would say they'll need at least another 16 points. Yeah, 16, 17 to be in the safer spot.
Yep.
And if they're able to pull it off, then they get that golden ticket. For the rest of the teams at the very bottom, it's time for you guys to get aggressive. And there is the points table, ladies and gentlemen, trying to crunch the numbers. 102 points for Demon's Pride, and they'll need 16 more to outshine Magna Esports Club to get into 119 points.
Well, I mean, with this, it makes it more visible that Magna Esports Club might be able to be in a safe spot. I don't know. It might just be me because again, Demon's Pride is only 6 points away to tying it up with Autobots Esports, but they are 16 points away to tie it up with Magna Esports. Make that 17, as you did mention. But we don't see that average coming from Demon's Pride. They might be able to pull it off in a one-off game, and that is where the drama begins. But there's just a stretch of a hope for them, but not a stretch for AG Global. The captain, the sniper, the one and only Monkey See, Monkey Do with 10 elimination and 7,083 on the damage, 8 on assists, and a usual sniper build other than that Susie and his favorite weapon, the AWM.
I can better tell you, not many teams, all 4 players put together, will be able to match up to the damage being dealt by the single lad. And that's how demonic he was in this lobby. Arwan getting that information, Moko making sure that he keeps tagging people as he puts them down. I mean, every single thing, the textbook basics was perfect from this guy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not only that. Looking at a combination of the squad right now, they're going for survivability. They have that Cassie, the basic therapy that will be able to top up the HP of the squad, as well as that Olivia, and every time he heals, it's being spread across the rest of the team. Now, he also have that Tiva, so in situation where a knockdown happened, it would be half a second and they will be up. But let's not forget Barros. With a combination of that A124 and the Bison, it increases the length, or as well the distance of those thrill of battle. And you've seen how well they managed to get all those points in. It's not only the elimination, also the assist, even the damage. It's just across the board for AG Global squad right now.
I'm just trying to do the math, man. 10,000 coming in from Barros and Cypher. Add another 10,000 coming in from Dew and Nameless. And that means they had a total of 20,000 damage coming in from these 4 lads. You know, the next time I see them anywhere in the lobby, I just run away.
Definitely. I mean, you run away far, far away, similar to what we've seen some of the teams has done right here as we look in the circle analysis. And though despite of dropping into the same compound, there's a few teams like Demon's Pride who managed to, Demon's Pride managed to pull away from that. BU is one of those, but they were just chased by Team Falcons, and it's just Team Falcons was just a little too aggressive that forces them into one compound, one corner, and now they were in trouble in that situation. But this is where Total Winners as well as Demon's Pride was like trying to beat down AG Global. But the moment they step in, eliminate Demon's Pride, they just went in the next phase of the circle with a launch pad, and it was just the final battle, which AG Global managed to whip everyone's butt and get a lot of elimination.
I mean, they just pulled off a 45-pointer, if I'm not wrong. Is that what we saw on the screen? If they're able to replicate that again, that means they're just going to break the record. Probably they'll set the new record. And if they can do it, I feel like Falcons can do it. If Falcons can do it, I think KAZU can also do it. So let's see which among these teams can actually, pull this off. But before which, let's look at the randomizer. Before we go there, I always love to get you guys involved. Let us know which among those maps are gonna be coming in the randomizer. You just have a second to say, let us know. For now, it seems like the history is gonna repeat as the sun is gonna shine brighter on this map. It's the map of Solara.
Yeah, so we start off with Solara. We're going to end it in Solara, and it's looking like Team Falcons as well as AG Global is going to do it once again. But in comparison of what happened, Team Falcons did manage to get the Booyah, 25 points, a total of 37 in that first game. AG Global, though they are far away in terms of placement, they got 11 elimination. But with this motivation coming from Nextera, I think they are on a roll as well to chase for that record and probably beat Team Falcons out of it. But this is 2 teams coming from Thailand who's trying to dominate this day's lobby.
I am happy that they're dominating today, because tomorrow I don't think so there's going to be much opportunity to do so. I know that I might be sounding a little harsh, but trust me when I say this, the Indian team tomorrow are going to bring in the complete firepower. But for now, the western side of the map completely empty. I know I'm getting deceived.
Yeah, I mean, we are getting fooled right now by the teams. I'm pretty sure the hub will be taken. I'm pretty sure Team Falcons will have a little bit of contention in Riders Club. Even Studios would have some of those stragglers moving in, because again, how easy it is to go in from Studios into Bloomtown, even heading in to the next, which is Archway or TV Towers. But TV Towers, because of the elevation and as well as the threat that is in there, for the first game, I think we didn't see that much of teams dropping in TV Tower. It's only after a few minutes of them looting up that they got that position, because they have a clear view of everyone who's running into the middle of the map.
You know, the 2 places in this map where I'd love to see the final circle happen, where I've always been praying for it to happen, one is Waterfalls and the other one is Bayside. I know it's the 2 corners of the circle, but if it happens there, then that's just the best ending you can ever find for this, for this tournament. But yes, we'll be stepping to see our predictions, to see for one last time which teams do we feel is going to be making it through to achieve a Booyah and be in the top 3 of this respective map. I would like to bring in your guys' predictions as well. Let us know in the chat, and let's see which among you is also right. I'm going to stick with AGAL. I'm going to go with TAG because they might go a little aggressive. TEC because I've not taken their name so far.
Seeing a little bit of anagram out of your predictions right now. You have TAG, AG Global, TEC. But on my side, it's based on the numbers, not the letters. I do have Team Falcons, SAQL, as well as TAG right here. Common denominator is Team Apex Gaming. Will they be able to do it right here in Solara?
Yeah.
Will they be able to get that Booyah once again? Probably the 3rd one for this main event, and probably a better chance as well to move higher. But the drama continues at the bottom of the leaderboard. The final chance for Demon's Pride, Bangla Unity, as well as Total Winners, Extreme X, and DRS, let's include DRS as well, to be able to chase in the top 12 or stop anyone from that list to get in the top 12.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like, we have got the best of the teams out there. Each of them have fought hard. Yes, if I was to choose one of those teams from the very bottom of the table, I would like to bring in AURORA because they were not themselves throughout the tournament for some reason. I would have wanted them to perform better, but Makhna Esports is going to be one of those teams which is just going to keep their fingers crossed and pray that somebody put down Demon's Pride at the get-go itself.
Yeah, I mean, Demon's Pride, there's a lot of hope when we were talking about them 2 matches ago. But as the match, as the game is already reduced to 1 game, and their averages is not really looking that good. It was better in the previous game, 12 points. It's decent enough numbers, but they need a lot more to be able to move up the ranks. They will need 16 points. But one thing is for sure, Makhna Esports Autobots cannot do anything about it. All they have to do is pray that Demon's Pride gets eliminated. The same goes for Bangla Unity because the difference is only 2 points between them, as well as another 2 or 3 points for Total Winners. And Total Winners, one of those that we saw potential.
Yeah.
But right now, I think those potential is just going down the drain.
Yeah, I still feel like, either of these 3 teams can actually do something miraculous. All they have to do is walk behind All Gamers Global, because they're going to be decimating the lobby. All you have to do is just follow their footsteps, grab that booyah by putting them down, and probably that's going to be more than enough for you to make sure that you cross the line. Nonetheless, this game is just going to brew out to be one of the best lobbies for the rest of the teams out there to test out what they have to bring in, what mistakes they do, because I strongly feel this is just the best game before the finale.
Well, we're ready. Let's find out who's going to get all those points. Who's going to get into the top 12? Will Makhna Esports Club be kicked out? Or would someone else break the record? A lot of storylines for the teams right here. A lot of storylines for Free Fire Max Asia Invitational. And this is our final match for the main event as we look in the flight path from Windmill heading down south to Studios. It gives them a lot of opening for the teams to start that battle.
Nobody's heading for an early clash. Now, this is something I was not expecting. AJL on the other side at Casa Vista will be kind of intrigued to get towards TV Tower as quickly as possible, but guess what? Falcons, they choose to go in and take a fight. They put on EXE Tucson, and now they've got to deal with the rest of them. Flicker on the other side is trading in very well. He puts another player down, but Limit says no. And this is where EXE will have to fall back from this fight. And Falcons, 2 early eliminations and a good start for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not looking good. It seems like Extreme X is not doing their homework if they're trying to pull away from early elimination. Or they just know that Team Falcons will be in here. It's such a good record if they can eliminate them early into the game. But it's not that close. John will be spotted. And there goes the shot. Ratia right now, not even switching weapons. Yes, sticking in with a mini Uzi in a position of how they force them to go into the open. And that is a strength of Team Falcons right now. But we are also seeing a revive happening to their side. But on the other side of the map, in Studios, it's CEC going against Bangla Unity. And Bangla Unity is not going down that easy as Blade has been knocked down.
Necessity is the mother of invention, and Bangla will have to come up with something new. Because they need to put down TEC just in case they will have to look forward for qualification. Bureau says, nope, I'm too thin for this. He falls back. Whereas Hunter on the other side, he's like, I might be able to pull off a player or 2. And he's pushing to make sure he picks up a fight. But Rahat says, no, I know where you are. Shots being taken, a lot of damage being dealt. And Rahat comes in from the other side. Hunter is going to buy some time to heal himself. But has he got enough? As he waits it out, Rahat on the other side showcases, but BU gets eliminated, and that's the end of the run for this team. Another one also got eliminated, and that's EXE from Bangladesh.
All right, so 2 out of the bottom squads already being taken down. Bangla Unity as well as Extreme X is just unfortunate because, especially for Bangla Unity, they were very close even in the beginning of this game, but the performance was just not there just yet. Now, as we look at the other squads, 10 teams remaining, we're seeing some trouble as well for the real soldiers. It's a good thing that Kuri managed to go for revive, and now they're full squad ready for the next phase of circle. That will be closing in 5 seconds. But Team Apex Gaming against Team Falcons, Shoto will be shut down. The combination of both Racha and Pina is not someone that you go against.
You need to bring in a lot of firepower for it. Wolvin also gets taken down. Penna says that I have been the eyes for the team. I still want to be. Soiljot on the other side is going to be the next man getting taken down. Ooh. And it seems like Falcon, they're just welcoming every other player out there, adding points on the table, and they're still intrigued to rewrite history.
LSC though, history right now is happening. Drama is happening in studio. Let's see if this is a fight that would be complete cinema, or will it be a drama and a disaster? Nejad being chased at, but this might force them out in the open in a clear shot of Blade, but Nejad will be taken down. No action being done as Blade tries to go in for a rush. He does have that Dreki who might be able to go for the backstab, but unfortunately not an angle is good for him to make that rush. And June will be taken down from the low ground to the high ground. It seems like TEC is going to eat up Aurora Gaming.
Aurora Gaming, not a right kind of a start, but SHUL, they get eliminated from the lobby. They've done enough, and it's time for them to prepare for the bigger picture. For now, TEC, 8 eliminations, and all of a sudden, we see them trying to be as aggressive as possible.
Oh, we haven't spotted final player of Aurora Gaming just yet. The Axel, though, in the sidelines, managed to pull off a revive, and he might be the bane in this fight. Let's take a look on the other side. The battle that happened between SAUL as well as Team Falcons. And as they are being forced into one corner, no way out, nades might be the downfall of the team. And there goes Pina all around. It's not only Pina, even Karor is throwing all those nades. So they're just like putting them in a barrel, and then you know how it is when you have those fireworks on them. There's no escaping.
Absolutely. DRS on the other side now again fall back. You know, they walk away with a little bit of disappointment, but they need to be proud as they come in as the top 18 of this tournament. But Aurora on the other side, they retaliated, again left out with just one last player who's just heading towards that vehicle for now. Luckily, nobody's close by and he can get a revival.
Well, let's find out on who's going to win this fight. Team Falcons, DAG, Shoto managed to beat down a couple of players though, but they need to hustle, and there goes Team Falcons slowly going down. But the team that also went down is Aurora Gaming, the final player that we just witnessed earlier. But Team Falcons against DAG, against RRQ, KAZU, and RRQ right now is the ones with most numbers, but a Bay is being brought down. It's Karor right now equalizing it. The God Nade might be the downfall of RRQ, but it's just a little too late on that explosion. But good thing the Karoro managed to recover from that fight and might be able to clutch this, but no, says a Bay, and Team Falcons almost out.
RRQ, what an approach to that fight. The patience behind that blue wall to go in for a revival. They knew that they had enough time. Even though the grenade came in, they did not panic. And this is how the champions are made. TAG on the other side. KD God was the last man standing. He revives his teammates. But now is the time for Demon Sprite to do something special. They've got 3 in their name already, and they need 13 more to qualify into the top 12.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. Demon's Pride going against Total Winners, both at bottom of the leaderboard. And Jazzy Fizzle, he will not be able to go for a fight in a few seconds despite of the revive on him. And Total Winners is just mad right now. And Mad Dash onto the other side. Total Winners tries to regroup, but will they be able to do it in time? Now, they managed to back off, take a higher ground, and put pressure against Demon's Pride. But top 7-7 has not been spotted just yet. And up close and personal, Madara might be able to be the game changer of this fight. Surprising that no one was eliminated from that 4v4.
Because both of them realized the importance of this fight. Demon's Pride.
They suddenly remember, oh, we're chasing for numbers. I forgot.
And they can't have a casualty here because it was not a 1v3 split. If everybody goes down in a trade, it was done deed. Total Winners realized it too late, but luckily it was not too late for them. But yeah, I think a sigh of relief for Demon's Pride as well. They're like, oh, we've been approached. They put landmines, they put glue walls, and all of a sudden they're like, okay, they fall back. Now we can breathe.
Well, everyone's breathing right now. But Demon's Pride in a ride, and that might be a highway to hell right there. But no one is spotting them for the moment. And this is just a stalemate for everyone. They don't want to go for an engagement. They don't want to lose out on the fight. Everyone's in a full roster right now who's waiting for the closing of that second to the third phase of the circle.
Now, Falcons. Lemon gets taken down, and look at them. Not at all bothered. But this is where troubles occur. It's either for Falcons or for Total Winners. As they've done a bit of a damage, can they get overconfident here? Falcons holding on to their ground. AURORA. Oh, he gets taken down. And that's a fight they need to watch out for. Top gets that confirmation. And Falcons now fall back. It seems like the Falcons' wings have been clipped off.
Oh yeah, I mean, wings are being clipped off. The same goes with the legs in a bit. But on the other side, Jazzy Fizzle goes for the shot against AGAL, but it's just unfortunate that they couldn't finish them off. They managed to recover, and now they are at full strength. But as we are looking at the elimination feed as well, Pina needs a little bit of picking up, but Team Falcons down to their last leg right now, and the same goes for TEC. But battle happens on the edge of circle. It's AG and TAG, and which of them are going to win?
AGAL need to watch out for the backs as well because DRS is also approaching them.
Oh.
Nameless, he finds himself taken down. Soiljot gets under confirmation. Shoto dashes in to find nobody home. And now Dew, he's got that shotgun. He's been amazing with the sniper, but how good is he with the shotgun? It seems like it's not good enough because Walwyn says, this is my weapon.
Oh, let's see! Here comes a God Nade, and Nameless might be taken down. The sliver of health and the slit in the glue wall, but he managed to put another one, and Nameless brings him down with a max 7. Here comes Wolvin, but they're still alive and kicking, and they're kicking them down. It's up to Barros right now, but it is not looking good. There goes Barros on the ground, and Team Apex Gaming once again winning that fight.
7 eliminations, ladies and gentlemen. It seems like a very, very small number, considering this is the map where we expected somebody to go with at least a 30-pointer with just eliminations. Yeah, for the first time, AGAL, they're hiding behind a rock and waiting for somebody to clear off from this vicinity. DRS on the other side, intrigued. Shot can be taken, but he gets taken down. It's RRQ who puts him out of his misery. And that means RRQ step into 10 eliminations for themselves.
Why? That could have been a good highlight. A good, I don't know, funny
It
reel.
is still a good highlight. If you take too much time, you get taken down.
A good highlight for RQ, not so much for AG. But imagine, like, not even putting in cover, you're healing up, you're just crouching, and then if Sypha managed to land that final shot, and that could have been it for that player. But, well, it is what it is right now. RQ, though, Maal, who was in trouble, now picked up. TEC, who's top of the board, the Chad caught off guard. And this is just the magic of RRQ. But we're also seeing DRS being eliminated. The numbers already dwindling, and RQ slowly closing the gap between them and TEC. Will TEC be taken out of the top of the leaderboard?
TEC falling back from this fight and trying to find an off angle. Tukush is trying to hold off to the longest distance. Blade gets taken down. Abe gets in closer. Rahat retaliates. Rans goes in for a revival, and now Tukush, he gets pounced upon by Mal, and that is where Rahat will not have any time to breathe as he gets taken down, and that's the end of the story for TEC. A valiant effort, but yes, they'll be walking into the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a lot of elimination in that fight. They could have taken the Booyah, but it's just RRQ being the bane in that battle. But one thing's for sure, a team that hasn't given up is this team called Demon's Pride. They are very close to reaching the top 12. All they have to do is bring in the numbers. And if they get that Booyah, that would be more than enough. Or, well, the Booyah plus the elimination that they have would be more than enough for them to get to the top 12.
I think they need around three or more eliminations. Or rather, 3 eliminations specifically, if you ask me. But
I know. We will see in a bit how many eliminations they have, but they've survived quite long, and I believe they have that much elimination already.
Oh no. This is where total winners, they're just running away from every fight out there. But that's not going to give them that ticket. They need to be a bit more daring. Tag, they're getting into a spot where TP, they have been amazing so far. Top puts down another player, and all of a sudden Tag is left out with just one last man breathing. And that means more points have been rewarded with Demon's Pride. And they need to make sure they walk away with the Booyah.
What kind of magic is that, Arca? You did ask for 3 more elimination. That's exactly what they got against Apex Gaming. They managed to get 3 elimination out of that fight. Now, it seems like they can do more. And there goes the Ford coming from Jazzy, who's not fizzling, and they have more numbers, and they can get their Booyah if they can maintain this. Now, total winners might be losers in this 3v1, and Aflatoon couldn't get an angle for that shot, and the Godnade coming from McVay. Now it's a 3v4, and Demon's Pride, this might be the chance that they're looking for to get into the top 12.
This is the game on the platter. Will they eat it or will they serve it to someone else? As it's got to be Madara. Needs to bring in that Sharingan, needs to make sure that he has information. Aswab on the other side has the information of the 2 players. Now they try to rantle them down to the corner. Top goes in, Rans and a bear. They're trying to buy some time, they're trying to get angles. Aswab gets in closer, gets damaged, and now gets taken down. It's a 3v2, 18 eliminations. Abe gets taken down, Rans the last man standing. He's still fighting it out. A 1v3 situation for Demon's Pride. They rise to the occasion, and they make sure they qualify. The frustration, the celebration, everything on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. Couldn't have asked for a better ending. You fight for it, you grab it, and you make sure that you head into the grand finals.
Talk about a clutch right there. With the 12 points, they only needed 4 points, or make that 5 points for them to reach the top 12. And I think they've done enough. I think they made one Malaysian team cry because of that performance, and that was just phenomenal. It only shows that Demon's Pride, this is one of the best team from Pakistan right here. They also got a ticket to Esports World Cup, and this is why they managed to pull it off, because they know exactly what needs to be done, and they managed to do it in the final moment.
Good things come for those who wait, and that's what Demon's Pride have done over here. They've taken the longest time possible to survive, and ultimately they strike when the iron is hot. They're gonna be very, very happy with this performance, and I believe that if not for anywhere else, Demon's Pride's bootcamp is gonna have lights on for a long time tonight.
I do agree. I mean, we can see in this player's camera as well that they were so happy. I would like not look at RRQ KAZU taking number 1. What I want to focus is the 22 points that Demon's Pride managed to sneak in from this match. They needed 16. They needed 16 points, and the average was just not looking good for them. But on the final moment, the final match, the final clutch, Demon's Pride definitely will be the pride of Pakistan.
Absolutely, what a game this was. It had masala, it had some fun, it had some singing from my team, from my co-caster, and I've enjoyed every bit of it. It's good to see that teams from Bangladesh were also pushing as much as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Extreme X, a team which dominated the previous rounds, are now going down as the team at the very bottom of the table. It's a shocker. I'm unable to digest.
Well, let's see now, as our guys trying to digest things happening, let's break down what happened, especially for our MVP, Madara. Not so much of elimination, not so much of damage, because they kept themselves a distance from the rest of the squad. But you can see how well prepared they are for survivability. And again, the combination of that Dreki and that Valiant Dash from the Oscar, it's still on point. Nikita, for those reloads, as well as Joseph, if in case they get tagged up with either Ice Grenade, Thrill Battle, it doesn't debuff them that much. And also with M590, they are on point on the CQC. For the rest of the squad though, it's still a safe approach for them. Not only do they have the only thing that is different is the rusher that they have, but A124 and that Chrono combination shows us that they are preparing to be a little bit beefed up on the CQC, but in case they need an exit strategy, they still have top 7-7 with that Morse.
You know, you're crunching down everything possible, and I'm wondering what is going to happen tomorrow. If this was today, with top teams fumbling in the final few games, just imagine the pressure they'll be undergoing with everybody in this lobby, proving themselves they're worthy of being there in the top 12. Especially Demon's Pride, the last game, the composure, the way they handled the pressure, everything was phenomenal. Jazzy, least contributed against top, who contributed the most. But let's not forget Madara and Aswab. They played the crucial role in the final fight.
Yeah, definitely. And this is where the battle is broken down. From what we're seeing, they kept themselves distance. Demon's Pride kept themselves distance after the Battle of the Hub. They try to go back and forth. And we also witnessed earlier, when they start seeing some of the teams, they went across in Windmill. They back away from that battle between total winners. And then again, a standstill once they found a compound. And they just waited. They just waited for the best opportunity as the other teams starts to fight against themselves. And look at that gap of the elimination in Circle 2 towards the final circle, and you can see how cautious Demon's Pride was until that final moment, and even taking down one of the giants, which is RRQ, and that was just a phenomenal run for Demon's Pride.
Absolutely. Now with this, ladies and gentlemen, do let us know which among these teams have impressed you the most in today's gameplay. I know that we had a lot of situations where we thought that the history could be rewritten, but again, there were places where All Gamers Global did showcase that they are capable of something phenomenal. But again, it's time for us to witness the history in the making, because now we're going to be witnessing 12 teams amongst the 18 who will be heading into the grand finals. And let me remind you one more thing. The team falling short were not far away.
And again, from the beginning of the show, we have TEC, Bangla Unity, Demon's Pride, Total Winners, Extreme X, and DRS at the bottom of the leaderboard. And we are going to see who managed to push themselves across the top 12. And there you have it. Demon's Pride managed to push through, leaving Magda Esports behind. There was a lot of chance for even those of Bangla Unity, but they've given it away. They started those early engagement and they started losing it. It was only Demon's Pride who stood towards the end.
What's concerning for me is how far All Gamers Global are. 250 against 124 points in the 12th position shows the difference in competition. But that doesn't mean that you cannot come out harder. All you have to do is slap the king to make his crown fall off, and you're gonna leave with a name behind. And that's what the teams in the bottom will be looking out for. Bigatron by Vitality, I'm shocked to see them at the 10th position.
Stuff. They didn't much, but they didn't need to show anything, especially after yesterday's battle. They calculated enough, needed out of this squad, and like they just went off the grid right now. But there's a lot of storyline that's being built, even from South Asia play-ins. We've seen this happen. We've seen this happen on the top 8 from South Asia play-ins, now in the top 12, but by tomorrow, when the grand final happens, there's no more threshold. It's only the #1 spot. And these are the teams who will be stepping in the plate. Let's start off with All Gamers Global, followed by Team Falcons, RQ KAZU, SAUL Esports, FFMIC, Team Apex Gaming, AURORA Gaming, Titan Esports Club, Hotshots Esports, Bigatron by Vitality, Straw Hats, and none other than Demon's Pride.
You know, one thing which is putting a smile on my face is how the Indian teams are hugging each other in the overall standing, and as well as this slide out here. SAUL, Revenant X Park, and Team Apex Gaming, worthy of everything they've done so far. From Bangladesh, we have 2. We have Straw Hats and Titan Esports Club. And Team Falcon and All Gamers Global. These are the 2 teams at the top of the table. The regions itself showcase a different approach to this game. And hopefully we'll be able to see a different game altogether tomorrow.
Yeah, we almost got to see only 2 representatives out of all the regions. And no offense to the Indian teams right here. If one of the Indian teams has been pushed down and then Magna Esports managed to get through, that could have been an equalized 2 from each region. But again, we still have more from the Indian teams, more chances for them to get that championship away from Southeast Asia. But it's still getting heated up. I know it's heated up already into the main event from the South Asia play-ins, but there's still a lot that would be happening for tomorrow, Arca.
This is where I request you guys to share this among your friends. Share the news, and also make sure you share the scheduled stream tomorrow so that everybody can come here and witness the best gameplay you guys can ever find in Free Fire Max circuit, because this is where teams is going to duke it out. They're going to fight to the finish because it's the championship online with 90 points to first take for themselves, and then and only then can they activate the champion rush condition.
I do agree. I mean, the threshold is already farther away, but the teams are all hyped up. But as we end this main event, we're going to bid goodbye and good night to everyone. Again, I'm Neptune General Garcia together with Arca. We're going to say good night. See you again tomorrow for the grand finals.